Welcome to Factor Freestyle.
People love Large Ray, and they always answer the phone when he calls. When we get them on Zoom, we ask them how they achieve their goals.
Let's see how far the rabbit hole we can touch.
Bow, 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 bow,
Bow, bow, bow, bow, bow, bow, bow, bow, bow.
What's up, Rodney?
How's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
We were laying down a new intro because Dave's not. Dave's going to join at the midpoint, and so
Okay.
he left me and Ray these instructions.
He left us
that's
in
cool.
charge, and that's not good. We shouldn't be in charge of anything. Who's Rodney? Do I know Rodney? I never met Rodney.
I don't think so. No.
Rodney, who are you? Give me a 12-second on who you are.
I'm just
10
a
seconds.
rider. Just a rider. From Cincinnati.
Can you be a little more specific?
Flatlander. 43.
Whoa!
So I'm an older guy. Yeah.
And where'd you say you were from? I interrupted you.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. That's
Yeah.
where Pete Rose is from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I know everything about Pete Rose.
He used to be on he used to be like on a local TV show, and we used to play baseball in the cul-de-sac. We spray painted the bases on, and when we wanted to get really aggressive, one of us would slide Pete Rose style head first.
I would never be that aggressive.
Well, many of us only did it once. I was
Yeah.
trying to impress my neighbors. Hey, do you guys want to listen to the video that Dave made?
Yes.
With instructions.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I love how
alright,
serious
so-
Dave is about this. This is like, he's so serious and so committed. It's the best.
Okay, and I'm going to share with sound. And
No
he
comment.
grew a mustache again.
Oh. He looks like this looks like it was filmed either in a hostage video or a homeless shelter.
All right,
With
here
that-
we go. And you guys tell me if you have sound.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I haven't been able to sleep for like 2 nights. I've been thinking about this show, and I'm so sorry I'm not going to be here. I know it's an important show, and I'm sorry I have this prior engagement that I have to go to. Rodney is a paid customer. He's a paid guest on Factor Freestyle, so you really have to deliver. I'm not trying to give you guys any pressure, but boy, there's a lot riding. I think we're up to 28, maybe 29 subscribers, so there's an audience out there that is expecting week in and week out that we deliver. So I've been just keeping notes just because that's just how I am, and I like to write everything down. As you guys know,
I took his notes.
make
I
sure
watched
you didn't
it
miss
earlier.
anything. So I just thought I'd share a couple quick points, and I'll send an email with all the itemized lists so you have that. But
He never sent the
just
email.
really quick.
You never.
It's
We
show.
usually don't
Make
need
sure
it,
you
but
have beginning,
anyway.
middle, and end. You gotta have the beginning, middle, and end. Just think of Wilkerson, like how he's always formatted shows.
He wants us
Gotta
to
have
be
that
like
structure,
Ron
and within that structure,
show.
you can have the freedom to go wherever the conversation goes. Do the prep, like the show prep is key. Even if you don't use the prep material, it's so essential to have prep because it then allows you to have something to fall back on if there's some
Oh,
slow
Joe, we
spots in
forgot
the
something.
show. Rodney has requested a couple guests. See if we can book those guests. I think the Brady Bunch format is really working well. So shoot for 9 people. Always
9
start with the
people?
Rob Lowe quote. That's
I
essential.
know, that's
It's like
pretty
our
crazy.
one piece that sometimes that gets missed, and I think it's really important.
Hey,
Stay on topic. I know that's kind of hard because we never stay on topic.
Hey
that was
guys,
very.
If the topic
Hello there.
is so
Hey,
far
Art.
off, try to bring it back around. And
We're
make some
watching
kind of,
Dave's
connection with
instructions for
the
us.
current issue
I'm
topic.
really not watching. If
subject
you want to
that
go
we're
on to
talking
something
about.
else.
Use the
Unless you
outline
need-
to help follow.
I think we
along.
get
If
it.
you've already
I think
watched
we
it,
get-
that's all we need to
Yeah.
know. You know.
I think it'll be fine. As far as my perspective, it'll be fine.
Dave sometimes likes to over prepare. Art Thomason. Hello.
Hey,
Dude.
Joe. How are you?
Awesome, man. Awesome. How's the moon?
Well, couldn't tell you, but I think it's still there as far
How's
as
the
I know.
space station? How's the space station?
It's going well. You know, had some recent spacewalks that have gone well, and got another one next week. So
Wait a
making
minute.
upgrades.
Wait a minute. Time out. I've heard about this fella Art. Do you work? You're a Flatlander dude, but also works at NASA.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh no. Oh no. Mark Eaton told me, he's like, Ray, you want to talk to this guy? I'm one of those people, and I'm not like I'm not a conspiracy thing, dude, but I think the moon landing was fake. And Mark's like, no, you got to talk to this dude. But I'm like, dude, it was totally fake. I'm like, nothing adds up. And so today,
Wait a second.
it's too long of a, it's too long of a, I get off
So-
track so bad.
Okay.
Rodney's not going to get his 43 cents worth today.
Oh my God. One of the
This
best
could be interesting
conversations.
in many ways.
One of the best conversations I ever had was at Guru Jam. Art and Zach were both staying at my house. And so I put them into my back seat, and Zach was all about like space snakes and stuff. And I was like, hey, Zach, what was that mission number where they recorded the aliens? And the whole ride home, he was like, mission number such and such on this date. And Art was like, you are fucking kidding me right now.
Joe, get on your interweb machine right now and look up Large Ray Array Schleckweg in the what's the professional app thing to like find people for jobs.
In
If you're a
LinkedIn?
professional LinkedIn, look up my LinkedIn profile quickly.
Oh my God.
We're gonna be on here for 7 hours today, and it's gonna be me
Large Ray
talking.
You working as an astronaut for NASA? And China's your friend.
Art's gonna get me arrested. I live right near Lockheed, or it's not Lockheed Martin, or is it Lockheed Martin still? It used to be GE something. Lockheed Martin is in King of Prussia. It's right up the street from me, and I go there. I used to go there 5 times a day, and there's always protests there and stuff. And so at some point, somebody said I needed a LinkedIn thing, even though I've worked at the same place since 1988. And I said, well, what should I be? I don't want to say I'm a driver for a copy center. I'm like, what would be something cool? I'm like, how about I just say I'm an astronaut? And I would get invited to like seminars up there. And do you see my picture, Joe? Do you see my picture?
It's so funny. It's so funny.
I was getting invited to seminars like constantly. And I'm like, do these people not get it? I'm like, that's why the moon landing was fake. They're inviting me to go hang out at one of these places. Joe, I'm sorry.
I also see that you went to Harvard.
For 1 year.
Ah,
I barely made it through junior high.
Wait a second.
I have a short attention span, which you'll find out real quick.
This is so funny.
I'm endorsed by a couple people, though.
space.
Yeah, that's what the word science sounds like. That's important, right? If you have a bachelor of some science guy, right? Is that what that means?
Bachelor
So, I mean-
of science with a major in space.
The best part of me going to space is I won't even climb a ladder. I'm a land mammal. I won't even go up a ladder, let alone in a rocket ship.
So what have you been up to today, Art?
Man, not a lot. Cleaning the house, fixing a fence, the grocery store, you know, those kinds of things. But
This is
it's
what
about to get
Flatlander
more
is
exciting,
doing.
I hope.
It will
Rodney,
be, I
so what have you
promise.
been up to today?
What have I been up to today? Not much of anything.
Taking pills?
No.
You're good? No.
Yeah, I took a nap.
Yeah.
I wanted to ride today, but it rained all day yesterday, so everything's real wet. Like tomorrow night, I'll be able to get out, but Not a whole lot today.
It's getting so warm here. It's like 70 degrees. Super nice sky.
When do
Oh,
we
it's
address
I
beautiful
bust-
out.
when do we address the Snoopy stuff in the background?
I
we
can't
do
figure
that?
out how
Let's
to.
do it. Let's do it right now.
Yeah, you just want to do it. It's
No, I'm curious. I am a fan of all that. So like not a crazy fan where I'd hang stuff up like that in the back of me, but I love who don't like Charlie Brown, you know?
oh, I've got over here. I've got all kinds of like stuff from like the 60s and 70s, and I
Yeah.
like old cartoons and toys and that as well. This is advertising stuff. behind me.
Okay. So you sound like you're too young to be around when the Homeboy shirts came out, right? Or were you like two?
Just tail end. Like they were still
Yeah.
around, but not a whole lot.
Okay.
Well, that was one of the things when I started riding is an older guy who quit gave me a stack of like old freestyle and goes.
Oh, okay.
So I knew about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How old were
That's
you
pretty
when
cool.
you got that stack of Go magazines?
I was 14. So this was summer of '93 is when I first got my
Oh, okay.
good bike. Yeah.
Oh, well that
Hmm?
that was during kind of the downish period.
It was, and that's one of the things like that we could talk about today. I didn't know that.
You
I had
didn't
no
know it.
idea.
How did you get into it? How did you get into riding? Was it those magazines?
There were older kids at my high school and at my parents' church that rode. So we had a couple of guys, like at my high school, they had a team called the Vert Jerks, and they would do like county fair shows and stuff. I had no idea.
Vert Jerks?
Uh-huh. It was Rob Hedrick and Brian Keith. I don't know if you guys know that. You might know there's a 16, 17-year-old girl rider, Bethany Hedrick. I don't know if you guys have heard of her. Rob was her dad. But they were good.
Oh, cool.
Like I didn't realize it like at the time, like how good they were. This is like 92, 93, and Brian could do flip fakies.
Really?
They were very good riders. So I didn't know.
So-
I had no idea it was a downtime. I knew it was down when I bought Eddie Roman's Ride On video. And there was that thing at the
right.
beginning about how it's dead. And I'm like, oh, it is?
I think that was a little bit exaggerated.
Well,
There is
yeah.
speaking of flip fakies, there is a video of Lee Ramsdell doing a flip fakie coming down on his ass so hard, and he just rolled around and said, I think I shit my pants.
My goodness.
All right.
If Lee, I guess I saw on Instagram, Lee said he was going to join at some point today. But,
Yeah.
Oh,
one of my-
he
one
said
of my
that
friends-
like publicly?
Oh,
He was like,
public-
I'm
okay,
in.
yeah. He sent me a message, or I sent him a message, and then I was surprised, Joe. The two people I sent messages to, one sent a message back, and the other one called me. Dennis called me in like five minutes after I sent him a text because he said, I don't think it would be proper to just text you the word no. I'd want to explain myself. You know, I mean, when you meet a guy in an elevator in 86 and you're still friends with him, it's pretty cool, you know. So
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
and we're gonna have to do a whole show on why Dennis can't do the show on his device. It's weirder than me
Dennis-
thinking the moon landing is fake. Joe, what's with the constant
Dennis-
nose cold, dude? And don't say it's
I'm
because
such
it's
a-
8 degrees.
I'm a nose tripper. No, I've got like allergies or something. It's always one thing or another.
That's that
I
time
was
of
just
year.
over. I was just over at the other house. So okay, so now that I am married, Angie has a house. I have a house. And so like now for a period of time, I have two houses. So
Just burn the other one down. You don't need it.
I'm a flatlander with two houses, it's very
Unheard
rare,
of.
unheard of. Anyway, I
Just
was over there.
A flatlander
and I
with
was
one
chatting
house
with
is kind of rare.
What do you call a drummer without a girlfriend? homeless.
Oh man.
So Art, how did you, so you never had to live that hard living in your car life as a Flatlander because you were an engineer, then you went to grad school, and then you invented the moon, and then
Yeah.
now you're
Well,
on TV.
yeah, I definitely didn't have a hard life, I guess, but I mean, there was a point when I had, finished high school that I went off and did shows and, lived the tour life then. And, in the summers, I would do shows and go on tour when I was in college as well. And then in between college and grad school, I had a few years where I just rode professionally all the time. So, I mean, I lived with my parents at the time, so I still, didn't have a tough life, but did a lot of traveling, did a lot of shows and that kind of stuff. So lived it a little bit.
What was your shtick when you were doing shows? Like, did you have a shtick where did you have like
Oh
a
no,
certain-
so it was like old school. If you guys know Bob Cole.
Yes.
Yeah, so
he was
he
the
had
first one to flip a motorcycle, I hear.
Yeah, exactly. And I was there when he did it. So yeah, I was
Really?
doing shows. Yeah, I was doing shows with him at the time. So we did all kinds of things. But it started out with a summer tour that we did, and so he bought one of the old Haro ramps, and we redid that, repainted it, and made it his own thing. But I mean, it was recognizable as the Haro ramps, and did a tour in the summer. I won actually a video contest that he had. This was one of the first video contests I knew anything about. I mailed in a VHS tape. I won the contest, and then they also said they were looking for a Flatlander for summer tour and asked me if I wanted to do it. So I did, and spent the whole summer touring with Bob and his wife. So it was just the two of us. He rode ramps, I rode Flatland, and his wife at the time was the announcer. And we did fairs and festivals and all those things. But at some point, we started working for the World of Wheels, and they liked the show. But then they said, hey, they wanted more, and could you do this kind of stuff on a motorcycle? Can you backflip a motorcycle? And Bob was like, yeah, I can do that. And so then he bought a motor. I mean, obviously at the time, he didn't know that he could do it, but he figured that he'd figure it out and scaled a jump box to this, measured the wheelbase between his bike and the motorcycle and built a jump box that was scaled up appropriately, and just went out and started trying it.
What did he first try? Like, did he start on a foam pit or resi?
No, he built a jump box and put it in his parents' front yard, and
No.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Amazing. That's wild.
So is he the one who started the resi doesn't count movement?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think resi even existed at that time. So I don't.
Yeah, resi didn't come out until, like, for BMX, they didn't start using it until I think Ken and Harkin was at Woodward, and that was in the early 90s.
Yeah,
like maybe I'm guessing like 92,
Okay, well,
93, maybe 94.
This was about that time. This was probably 94, 95.
Yeah, but still, there weren't a lot of people going. Like,
Yeah.
Pro riders weren't going to Woodward solely to like learn flips. People were just doing them. So I don't think Bob even would have been able to go anywhere near a foam pit back then. There's probably only one at Woodward for bikes.
Do you think he knew about it and just chose not to use it so that he could be that much more legendary?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's possible, but yeah, that's just his style. Like, he's just like, yeah, let's go for this. Like, it would be too much work to go find a resi. I mean, it's just do it, I think.
That first flip must have been something, because I've been scared to death.
Yeah, well, it was interesting just hearing him talk about it, that it was all about, redlining your gear at the right time and to make you flip. It wasn't like a bike where you use your weight to, flip yourself back.
Oh.
So it was all, yeah.
So what was it like when he saw Brian Deegan? No, was it? It was the Metal Militia crew.
Carrie Hart was the first one to do one,
Terry
sort of.
Hart.
He went up and just
Right.
did like a up and down, like straight
It
up,
was
straight
vertical.
down, and then kind of fell a little bit. But then, who was the first dude? Was it Deegan or was it Pastrana that did it? I forget.
I thought it was Brian Deegan, the Metal Militia guys at the X Games.
No,
So
you know what happened? Well, before that, he was supposed to do it, and then he went to jail, and that was when Hart did it, I think. And then the next year at the X Games, I think. I don't know.
he was supposed to do it, but went to jail.
And he got in a fight. That's when he's not he's not like that anymore. But when he back in like 2000 or 80, prior to 1999, all Deegan wanted to do, I think, and I don't know him, just stories I heard, is he just wanted to fight people. And then I think as he got older and had a family, I think he calmed down and kind of figured out life and realized he didn't have to be a tough guy. And but that's just what I've heard. I mean, I don't know anything about him other than what I hear from people, so. But anyway, so I don't know who did. I think Travis Pastrana was the first one to do like the full like ramp to ramp one kind of,
Okay.
But,
It's got to be insane to prep that for the X Games.
yeah, and I do remember when Carrie Hart was doing the first backflip, everybody in my crew at the Gravity Games were like, Bob Cole did one like 10 years, like 20 years ago. It was like, we didn't even care. We're like, hey, that's cool. But we're like, Bob Cole did it a long time ago. And he doesn't even talk about it. So it's not that big of a deal, because they were like, the whole Gravity Games were, Carrie Hart is going to do a backflip. Carrie Hart did a backflip. And then he tried one at the X Games and he crashed miserably in Philly and like went to the hospital, but he met Pink. And then they lived happily ever after.
He crashes a
Fair trade.
backflip. All you guys are calling ABD. He's like, how can I turn this around?
What is ABD?
Already been done. It's
Okay.
it's some shit
Listen,
you talk
you gotta
someone-
help me with this stuff. Remember that I don't want to do too many. What are you talking about? During the show, like, so all this lingo and hip stuff. I don't get it. But yes, we were definitely saying it already been done without a doubt. We had to stand up for our brother, Bob Cole, because we were like, look, man, freestylers, but you guys stole all this stuff from the freestyle guys, so.
Yeah,
And they did
it's
great
kind of,
Pretty much. Yeah.
But I'm glad they did, because I mean, that motocross, whatever it's called, freestyle motocross, is that what it's called? Is crazy cool to watch. And you got to be a maniac. You got to be like Matt Hoffman crazy to do the stuff they do,
Did anyone ever invent a gyro for a motorcycle?
Yes.
Oh, that has been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Travis Pastrana did it, and he was a bar spin something or other. In fact, that's how Dave and I started the show. Is we invented the story.
I feel like this show might have been where I heard that was a thing.
Yeah, because we were going to talk about Jose Yanez doing a tail whip on a motorcycle.
I have so many things I want to talk about. We have to do a show on things I have to know about, but good.
So Dave suggested that we have a beginning, middle part, and an end. And so he also said that we have to be like Wilkerson today. I think he was talking to me. I don't know that he would say that to you, Ray. So the first question, he said also start with a Rob Lowe quote. So while we're waiting for the rest of the folks to come in.
A Rob Lowe quote.
We've been doing them for the whole time. Okay, so balance is not something you find, it's something you create. And we want to use this as kind of the theme for the show of, like, have you ever been thrusted into a duty that you had to like suddenly be good at? Kind of like if you have to save a trick or something like that. So these are Dave's cryptic notes, and I'm going to do my level best to interpret them correctly. So, Art, can you tell us a story about having either to save something on tour, save a trick under extenuating circumstances, or save your sanity after watching something happen in a hotel room with Scott O'Brien?
Yeah, wow. So there's a lot. So is this prep, or is this is it?
No, we're
Say
shooting.
it like it. Say it like
Okay.
it happened. If something bad is something you don't, if you look back later and you're like, I shouldn't have said that, tell Joe and he'll try and edit it out the show. But he hasn't done it yet for me. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, there's been a lot of times where I've had a save that was unexpected, and there's a couple of them that I look back kind of early in my contest career that really stick out to me. One was like my second contest ever. I think I was 13 or 14. I was riding in the novice division, and one of the tricks I wanted to do was a fire hydrant. And I practiced, there's plenty of room to warm up back in those days at those contests. I practiced all day leading up to my run, and I could not do the fire hydrant. Something about the slick floor, I'm not sure what it was, that I couldn't do it. I mean, I probably tried it 50 times and it just wasn't happening. So it came time to do my run. I was about halfway through it. This was the point, I'd done everything perfectly up to that point. This was the point where I was going to do the fire hydrant. And I just said, I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to do it. And I pulled it in my run. The only time I did it the whole day. And, it was one of those things that it just worked. And I don't know if it's the confidence of everything going well already, but, it was just a cool feeling. I think the other one that really stands out to me was later when I was an expert and I was riding in the BS series, and I was a contender for the year-end title. This was in 1996. And this was a event in New York, and so I think I qualified first or second. And then in practice before the finals, I broke my front brake. And this was back in the days when we didn't have the 990 mounts on the forks. I had one of those that went, a brake plate, and this was
Yes.
the bolt that held the brake plate on snapped. And I looked, I went to all the other riders, like, do you have a brake plate I can borrow? Do you have a bolt like this that I can borrow? Nobody had anything. So my friend Blaine was there with me, but his bike setup was totally different. He had, because they weren't even 990s, these different kind of brakes that I couldn't use. So really, the only choice was just to take the front brake completely off and come up with a run then without a brake. So I did that and ended up getting second place in the contest. And that event actually helped me win the year-end title with the points from that one. So another one that just sticks out. And I mean, to me, there's been a lot of things in life like this that you've got to just accept the situation. It's not exactly what you planned. You can't really look back and be upset that you ended up here. Just like, this is where I'm at. What do I do to make the best of it? And so that's what I think I was able to do in that situation.
That's pretty awesome. That's really cool.
How long before your run did that thing snap?
Probably like 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Just enough time to like get in a few tricks and like, is this going to work? Is this going to work? And make adjustments.
That's
Man.
kind of insane.
Yeah.
But like, that focuses you up. There was this one time in 2011 at York, I broke my bars that morning and I had to go look for new bars, and I got these lower street bars. And that, like, it was so intense. I felt that there was so much risk that it gave me like hyper super focus, and I ended up doing 2 perfect runs. And then later
Wow.
that night, we were at the pit, and Sunny Singh goes, "Hey, I've been looking for street bars. I have some chase bars in my. Do you want to trade?" And I was like, "Dude, that's awesome," because I broke chase
Yep,
bars.
absolutely.
Wow. That is just like worked perfectly. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, in some ways, those kind of things sometimes can take the pressure off of you, so that you're like, hey, I'm, no pressure. I'm riding weird bars. if it doesn't work out, I've got an excuse, maybe that's what happens in your head. Or in your case, I guess it just focused you of like, hey, I've got to really like focus extra hard in order to make this work.
And I was doing death trucks, and so having like chase bars versus street bars, like it felt weird under my leg.
That's gotta feel crazy.
So I was super stoked on that. So Rodney, have you ridden contests? I mean, you started in '93.
I rode a couple of contests. We didn't have a whole lot of contests in this area. I did an AFL contest in 2000 in Cleveland. And I did that 2-hit burning bike thing that they did at Chenga in like 97, maybe 98. But I never got beyond like entering beginner. I'm still not a very good rider, but I was never. I told my riding buddy, I felt like I had to work twice as hard for half the amount of tricks. I'm just not a naturally coordinated person. Down all the time. Just like
I feel your pain. That's exactly how I was, my whole time trying to ride.
Yeah,
like growing up with Gary
that.
Pollock, it's like, he would try a trick and pull it on his first try. I've seen him do that like 7 times, where you would like tell him, oh, this is how the guy does a trick, because I couldn't do it, and then he would try it and pull it, and I'd be like, how do you even do that? So he was
yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that. I respect it, but I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So Joel Shalhorn would do that. He'd say, "Oh, look at this trick," and it was like a Joel Shalhorn's kind of like very fun trick, and he's like, "I got it on the 3rd try," and I go, "It's not a trick then. If you get it on the 3rd try, dude, it's not a trick. Like if you don't grind for it and work for it, why even?" And we would argue for hours about that. I mean, does that count? All right, so Gary or Ray, tell us about the Gary thing. Does Gary have a way of thinking about tricks that he just naturally picks up versus tricks that he grinds himself into dust to get?
I think he does it more like Forrest Gump. Not that Gary's like Forrest Gump, but how Forrest Gump would just pick up a ping pong paddle and just be the greatest ping pong jerky in the world. I've seen Gary do that with like not just freestyle. Like Gary was playing roller hockey just for like exercise, and it might have been like the 2nd or 3rd time he played, and there was a professional roller hockey team in Philly, and this guy that like was on the team, he's like, "Hey, do you want to join our team?" And Gary's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "I'm with the Philadelphia Bulldogs, and we're like a roller hockey team." And Gary's like, I guess so. Like, I don't know. But like, so Gary could just do, like, he'd be in gym class in school, and he'd be like playing basketball, and he'd be like better than the basketball players. And Gary's like, "Yeah, this is the 3rd time I've ever played basketball." But he's like making shots from everywhere and stealing the ball and running around. And so I think sports wise, Gary could have pretty much just pursued a sport and been probably, at a college level at least, because he just naturally athletic and would do a sport, do something for like, he'd ride in his backyard for 7 hours and not sweat. I mean, like he wouldn't even be, he was like 100 pounds and just like completely fit. And we'd all be like dying, just like changing a flat. We'd be sweating to death, and he'd just be riding nonstop and just be like, "All right, I'm good." So when it came down to doing tricks, he could see it. He would see a trick in a magazine and just look at it and figure out how they got in and out of it, and he'd just do it. And everybody else would just be like, "Did he just do, what trick did he just do?" The one that he saw in the magazine, I think it's called a Decade. He just jumped around his bike and did it. So it was crazy.
All right, how long does it take for you to learn tricks? Sorry, Ray, go ahead.
No. Oh, I was gonna say, you know how I like to brag about stuff. Make sure you tell Art where the name fire hydrant came from. Who named the fire hydrant?
Ray.
I would guess
What?
it was.
Wait, it was
Ray.
a kid. It was a kid you were calling fire hydrant because he was
No, our
hanging around
friend-
so much.
No, our friend John would do this thing where he would imitate kids in Philly going like, yo, man, I was riding down here. I was going down there. I live on 13th and Vine right next to the fire hydrant. And he would always end his little spiel with the word fire hydrant. So we were right out in front of Gary's house and he did the fire, like a fire hydrant was the fire hydrant and cherry picker. Like we never called it fire hydrant to cherry picker. We called the first and second part a fire hydrant. We never called it a cherry picker. And then as contests went on, people were like, oh, because then people figured out, hey, wait, you can do a fire hydrant into like a billion different things.
Mhm.
So then it got changed. But
Scott Powell still does a fire hydrant into everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I named that trick. I'm very proud of that. I mean, you got to be good at something if you can't ride.
Dave's wearing the same shirt and his hair is in the same state as when he recorded the instructor.
Wait, is he here now? Where is he?
He just joined.
He's here.
Oh, there he is. Wow. What's wrong with his head? His head looks different. And the glasses don't fit your head. Are you all right? Have you eaten anything since the last time we saw you? You look like horribly skinny. What's wrong?
Are the kidnappers still within earshot?
Yeah. It's like a Vietnam POW video again. What the hell? Somebody help me here.
Story of the watch. Dave, can you say something so that we can tell if you have audio?
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
We can hear
There
you.
he is.
Where are you?
Yep.
I'm in that
Whose basement
investment
are you
property.
in?
I'm in the investment property you told me to buy, Joe.
In Wales?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if these guys know, but Ray, you know that I've hired Joe as a financial consultant, right?
No, and I don't know anything about Joe's background in anything to know if he's a
What are you
financial
talking
advisor.
about? You've heard plenty of my good ideas.
Joe has
If
2
you-
houses.
No.
Yeah. Have
Well,
you
who
seen this
doesn't?
stack?
If you marry
Wait.
a chick when you're 50, you should marry a chick with a house. You know?
Wait, Joe, are you trying to get Dave to buy your wife's house? Is that what this is?
No,
Oh, okay.
Oh, that would be
This is-
Yeah, that's a
awesome.
good.
I-
That's a
No,
good
I'll
one.
that's
chip
good
in
one.
and
That's
buy
a good
it. Why don't
idea.
we all chip in and buy it, and we can do this show live, like together.
Ray, have
Let's
you
bu-
seen Joe's stack of hundreds that he just flashes around?
Yes,
Like,
yeah, he
Okay.
has them. It's like a video. It's like a Snoop Dogg video. Let's see these hundreds.
I think he has several stacks, is my
Yeah.
understanding. Anyhow, he's not charging me a lot. It's like $4,300 a month. No,
They're
a year.
fake,
How
by the
much-
way. I can tell.
What's that?
No, it's a month.
I can tell from here they're fake. The color's not right. I know all about counterfeit bills. Working at a digital
Oh.
print reprographics firm. I know all that stuff. 'Cause
Oh,
people have, yeah. People have tried.
I
to-
used to work in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you know, like you can tell the easiest way to tell if it's fake, just put it on a piece of white paper and then with your fingernail on it and then just rake it across the white paper. And if the ink doesn't come off, because the ink never dries on money, then you know it's counterfeit. Yeah, I should be in the
Never
Secret
dries on
Service.
money.
Yeah. It never dries. It always will smear off if you do the right test to it, which is easy to do with just a piece of paper. Yeah, write this stuff down, kids. It's very, very, very useful information.
When I was on Lollapalooza, we would have to test the 100s that we would get. Like we had one
Yeah.
of those little pens.
The pen. I wish I would have
And who
saw
would
you at
think-
Lollapalooza. That would have
You
been the
do,
greatest ever.
which you would have.
Oh,
What
wait,
did you
that's
do
why
at
we got
Lollapalooza?
Huh?
What did you do at
a
Lollapalooza?
he held a piss bucket for the guys that had to go to the bathroom when it was
In 1993, I was one of the vendors that followed around in the minefield.
you told me you were in the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I was selling jewelry that I made, and I split the booth with a buddy of mine who was in town, who ran a push cart out across the street from OSU, and we got in his cargo van. We built bunks in the cargo van like JF is doing. JF is glamming for sure.
Yeah.
We were doing it old school, and so I did like the 10-week tour.
What
Wow.
was the amount you made after? What was your gross profit doing that gig of making the jewelry?
My gross profit was negative because I
Negative.
for that tour I had been doing it for a couple of years, like doing art shows and fairs and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I bought way too much stuff for that tour. And if I look back now, I should have had my sort of the sample product lines. I should have had like 5 or 10 of each of those. And then at the end of the day, as I watched what sold, to like re-up or to like make more stuff. So I should have had a just-in-time manufacturing process.
I hope,
but I was not as shrewd then.
I hope Dave's listening for when he picks you as a financial advisor. I mean, if you can't sell a couple pins at the Lollapalooza back in the '90s, a bunch of little stoned out jerkies, I don't want to take any financial advice from you. You know what I mean? It just doesn't sound good.
But
do you have an
infantry that you store?
He's learned from it. It's learning process, Ray. So that's what.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that, Joe? Joe, are you still selling jewelry at concerts, or is that no longer part of your financial portfolio?
I want Joe to make me
I have not.
I want Joe to make me a friendship bracelet.
Wait, you want to? Let's do this. So a couple years ago, I went through, like in 2010, I went back through and photographed the stuff that I had made.
Is that a ball sack?
That is, it's a rose quartz.
Hey,
I'm
Joe,
sorry, garlic clove.
Joe, I don't mean to
interrupt.
Hey, Joe, can I just interrupt for a second? I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt. Is the show about jewelry this time? I just didn't see the notes, so I'm trying to understand what. Can someone read the Rob Lowe quote so that I can understand what?
Do we have to go? We'll go back and do again, I guess. Yeah, sure, of course. Let's restart the show. Ramsdale said that he was unable to join this time because he had something randomly come up with his family.
Oh. Okay.
So we'll have to get him back on.
We'll get him
we'll
on next time. He'll do it again.
So Rodney, you'll
Rodney,
free.
We'll refund you all the costs that you have, because we like to over deliver here, and if we can't deliver,
we'll give you one of Joe's necklaces.
We'll give you one of Joe's necklaces.
I'm not worried about the lucrative cost.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm good for it.
Because
I have a good
every
financial
43 cents
advisor.
counts,
We'll send you 2 Jolly Ranchers in payment.
This is the Rob Lowe quote around which we're orienting the show, Dave. Balance is not something you find, it's something you create.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so we were talking about
Mark told us how his bike broke 20 minutes before his routine, and he still went out there and killed it.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't know that, Dave, because you weren't on the call then.
No, I don't mean to. You guys keep going. I'm just here I'm just here to watch. Go ahead.
So I think I see in your background an EP, a Strowler, and a Big Daddy. Am I right?
That's right.
Yep.
Good call.
Wow, Joe, you're on it.
Yeah. Hey,
Joe
you
can
want to know
probably
something
identify
interesting?
butterflies or something.
When I got back into riding, I got an AP.
Something interesting is you can see how, because of the angle that I'm at over here, these two bikes are kind of close together. It's because the Strowler in the middle is on a stand that actually like comes out from the wall, and the other two are flat against the wall. So there's kind of a parallax, if you will. But I was doing Zoom meetings, or not Zoom, but the equivalent of that for work. And this was in the background, and someone said, well, you have a tandem bicycle frame on your wall. And I was like, what? But now, once I once I saw what they're seeing, it's like I get it.
And for being an engineer, you should have that set up properly. Because if I was on a Zoom call with you and you were telling me you're an engineer, I'd be like, this guy doesn't know how to hang a bike. Doesn't it look like that?
He probably should have gone one stud over to the side.
Well,
with the
but
middle
the
bike.
thing is it is centered. It's just from where I'm at, right? So like,
Oh,
Oh,
the
I see it
parallel.
now.
once I get here,
Alright.
I
see,
take Art. I take that back. I'm sorry.
Oh, look at that. It's an
I have
illusion.
misspoken.
yeah, it's just that one is out from the wall.
Out
You can
from
see
it.
because it's just on a different
See,
stand
yeah.
to show, like, to make that one more prominent than the others.
You don't have any Dave Norrie posters in there, do you?
Man, I don't now. As a kid, man, my room was just plastered with photos, and Dave, was in quite a few of them. But
He just likes
it's-
hearing that kind of stuff. That's why I wanted to say it.
Yeah,
Was
well,
I
it's some.
touching? Was I touching the ground? Was my pedal touching the ground or my foot touching the ground? That's what Ray
Definitely
wants to
not
know.
definitely not your foot. I don't know if I had any with pedal on the ground. I think the ones I remember
The
were
pedal
like
doesn't count as a touch.
a hang 5.
Wait,
I think there's that slider one. I remember that one.
the
What was
slider.
the
Slider.
first time that you
Yeah.
met? What was the first time you met Dave? Like proper met Dave?
Well, so proper. So before that, I mean, I met him on a summer tour in like 88 or 87, 89. I can't remember the exact year, but I went to Wichita and saw him ride and was just like, really stoked to see that. But I
Did we have a
think
conversation, Art? Did we actually talk?
I
Did I fix your
don't-
brakes or anything?
I know, definitely. I might have just. I think I maybe got an autograph and tried to trade a swatch, or there was something like that. But that was about it.
Did you really trade a swatch?
I don't know if I did, or if we just kind of like considered it. I can't
It was
remember
probably
what
an old
happened.
beat up pair of Vans with some old Vans, and he was like, "No way, no way, I'm not going to do it for those old ripped up Vans."
I have smelly shoes, and I'll trade you your nice swatch for it.
So it was in what city was it in?
Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when was it that we met again in like
Oh, yes.
2016?
So yeah, I didn't answer that. Yeah, it was at the Houston AFA contest. Yeah, I think it was 2016. And I remember eating breakfast with you the next morning, and you were making like balancing forks on salt and pepper shakers with toothpicks and all kinds of things.
He's a
Do you
show
remember
off.
that? Yeah.
Hey, Dave, why didn't you introduce yourself to Art at the Florida AFA in 2016?
Okay, I have to swipe over because I can only see 4 people on the phone. Wait,
I'll ask
you
you
want
a
me?
question once you're looking at Art again. Why didn't
probably
you
didn't
introduce yourself to Art at the Florida AFA show in 2016? It was because that happened before Houston.
Yeah, I was nervous. I mean, he was a pro. I was a vet class. I was in the old school class. And it was my first time back in contest, competition. And, he's Art. He's riding full factory Hoffman bikes. But once I won that contest, I won Florida. I had a little more confidence. And so then I came out, and in Houston, I don't know, what did you think about that, Art, when I came rolling out in my outfit? Can you describe that feeling when you saw? Do you remember what I did in Houston?
Yeah. Well, actually, I guess that was the first time that I really met you was when we did the NASA tour, which was
Right.
like technically before the restaurant. But yeah. So man, I mean, I knew it was going to happen. I guess like when you got the outfit, I was pretty sure that that's what was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, so those of you that don't know, so James and Dave and a few other riders, I gave them a NASA tour when they were in town for the Houston contest, and Dave bought a child's shuttle launch suit. So like the yellow, or not the yellow, the orange suits that the shuttle crew members wear when they launched into space. So there was a
Wait, that
child's
was a
version
child
of that.
suit? I thought it was
Yeah.
a real suit. I thought it
Yeah.
was a child. It was a costume.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was like a child's costume though, and he's like, well, hey, it fits me. And so he wore it for the competition, but I think he ended up like ripping it or something during his run. Is that right, Dave?
no.
Did you tear
So
the-
don't. Okay, first off, I just want to go back a little bit, Art. The tour wasn't just like a tour. He took us back behind the scenes. Like we got to go not on the regular tour where we're behind the glass. We were like I remember we were watching the Mission Control, and there was some drama going on about some batteries. You remember that? And then finally the main guy's like, it's a freaking set of batteries. Can we just replace them? Do you remember that, Art?
I don't remember the exact conversation, but yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing that happens sometimes. Is that you can get lost in details and lose the bigger picture. So sometimes you need someone to focus you.
And I remember James'
Hey,
kids
wait
were
a
there.
second. Maybe that's what we could do with our life coaching thing. Is that Dave? You can be the one to just yell, "Look, just switch your batteries out," or just give some very pragmatic life coaching advice, while all of us are getting overly elaborate. Okay,
And
sorry.
going around and around,
Talk about
going around and around in
talk
circles.
about
Okay, but
how
let me just-
James. Talk about
yeah,
how
so
James'
kids. I remember when we went
were
in there.
in mission control.
Yeah, Art said, "Look, guys, we just got to be really quiet and respectful." And Art was more worried about James than his kids.
Yeah.
Because it was James, Nitschke, and I, and it was like the combination. Art, you did a good job managing us all, I think, under the pressure. But what
Yeah,
I did
I'm
was
still
Hold on a second.
employed there, so
So-
it all went well.
So Art, how on earth did you control James and his kids and Nitschke around the buttons that keep the space station in orbit?
They were pretty well behaved from what I remember. I mean, even though I may have been worried, it was misplaced worry.
so.
Okay.
So continuing what happened, Joe, is I basically bought this. I thought was like the official, basically
You thought
space-
you thought it was a space army surplus store. That's what you thought it was. Not a gift
But he-
shop, a space
But he
army
really bought underoos.
surplus.
Yeah, he thought he bought an actual pressurized garment that would save his life in the vacuum of space if he wore this for $30.
Crazy.
I thought it was going to make it help me so I don't touch the ground, Ray. I thought
I know.
this was going to help.
Anti-gravity suit.
Exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
Neil Armstrong wore one of these.
Oh.
Okay, so
bought it at
Art,
the gift
here's the
shop.
question. Do you remember? I think you were judging that. Weren't you judging Old School? I'm pretty sure you were.
Mm.
Judge.
I can't remember.
Oh,
honestly.
all right. So do you remember the song that I wrote you?
Baby's
Ground
got back.
control to me.
Oh, yes.
In child's underoos.
And I
Probably
walked
constantly
out in
touching the
uniform.
ground.
Nobody saw me, Art. Before that, I changed backstage, and then I walked out to that song. I'm almost certain you were a judge.
Do you have photos of this by chance?
I know. I remember
I'm
watching it,
looking
but I
for
can't
it.
remember if I was judging or not.
Joe, you could find some footage on my Instagram, but it's a ways back.
Yeah, I'm looking.
But anyhow,
Every show, I find something out different about Dave that just makes him weirder and weirder. You know?
Nobody.
I mean, it's not
Well,
as weird
in
as
Michigan, the next year in Michigan, or no, later in Michigan, that year he geared up in his Haro jersey and leathers and came out and did a show, or did his run,
Do you-
and that
do
was
you
pretty
think-
cool.
Hey, Dave, do you think the first Haro, like the first and second generation of Haro uniforms, kind of resembled like NASA, sort of like some type of spacesuit a little bit? Like when they had the gloves, the helmets, like, oh my God. What were you, 14 in that photo?
I can totally see how Dave could confuse a child's
So that was for a little kid. And
space
it's big on,
suit.
it's for a little kid, and it's big on Dave. He doesn't even fill it out.
And you're clean shaven.
Yeah.
You do look like it's like
So-
you're practicing to ask a girl to prom.
They didn't have proms in middle school. Look at that. He's like a little kid. How old are you in that photo?
Oh, I'm like 52.
Dude, you are like
What?
Benjamin Button. This is insane.
you look like a little
52
kid.
in that picture.
You should have
Wait,
been an undercover cop at a high school. You'd clean up, dude.
You should. Why don't you just apply to be an undercover narc
Yeah.
high school right now?
And wear your NASA suit.
Where
your- He's got his Oshkosh bagosh. NASA
Oh my
suit.
God, I used to love that.
my friend,
Oshkosh
my
bagosh.
friend trains the astronauts. Just tell them that. My friend Art trains the astronauts. My friend Art trains the astronauts.
So what was up with the
Just keep
hat?
telling
It's
them.
like attached
I was just
to
about
the
to ask
suit.
about that.
The hat velcros to the pocket.
Because if you
Yeah,
look at the one that's hanging up, it's
Yep.
the same way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Dave,
just
you were
wondering
probably
about
so
that.
excited to wear that, I bet, weren't you? Were you like
Oh
so
yeah.
excited to wear that?
Oh yeah. I was totally backstage, like getting dressed up. You know, nobody knew. I guess Art figured it out because he saw me buy it and he kind of knew that. Okay, he's probably up to something.
Well, if
But
you
you
could
know,
read my
this-
if you read my comment on the side, I may have given it away. But
When did
Yeah.
you- When did you post that?
Hey, do they
well,
sell
August 10th, I
Tang
guess you
back
could
here?
look to see. I'm pretty sure it was the day of it. What are you looking at?
He said, "Do they sell
Tang
Tang
in the
back there?"
cafeteria?
Oh,
This is a
I don't-
cafeteria.
yeah, it is. No, no Tang.
Astronaut ice cream.
Yeah, I've had that.
You can buy that at the gift shops.
Yeah.
That's where I got it, like museum gift shops and whatnot.
I know Dave will get mad if we don't talk about freestyle, but I have two
Yeah, we
things I
probably
want to
should.
ask Art, but I don't want to get in trouble.
I
Well, I know
think
Dave
it's
gets
probably
very-
best to ask questions now
Later.
as they occur to you
Oh.
than later. No, I think you should do it now.
Oh,
Yeah,
Um,
you're okay. If I get mad, I'm sure you can deal
well,
with
no, I have two questions, but I don't need Art to elaborate on them. I just want to know if he can help me with the two questions I have. So, I, without a doubt, 100% think the moon landing was fake, and I also believe that when people are arguing about something, whether it's what type of car they like or politics, religion, nobody has ever changed anybody's mind arguing about something. You know, I
Usually.
I would so be open to talking to Art about the moon landing and him changing my mind, because I want to believe so bad that the moon landing was real, but all the stuff I've seen makes me feel that it was fake. And Mark Eaton was like, "You got to talk to this dude." And he goes, "This guy will explain to you how they did it and why they can't go back or whatever it is." And I want to know if that's something that, have you ever changed anybody's mind? Because I'm sure a lot of people, as soon as you say, "Oh, I work for NASA," the first thing a dude like me that thinks the moon landing is fake is, I'm like, "Oh, we got to ask him about the fake moon landing."
He
And then
changed your mind about how the bikes are on the wall, so I think he can dispel.
Yeah,
the
that's what I
parallax.
mean. See, we're in the right
Yeah.
right direction. And then my other question would be, I was never really into the whole alien thing. Like, I'm like, okay, aliens this, aliens that, and I really just wasn't interested in it. And then I stumbled across that Bob Lazar guy talking for 2.5 hours to Joe Rogan, and I watched it 3 times. And I am 100% convinced that the Bob Lazar guy is completely telling the truth. And I'd like to know if someone with what you do if you're like, the whole alien thing, that's so stupid, or you're like, oh yeah, they're you know, it's definitely 100% real. So those are my two things that I'd like to discuss someday, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, so just I'll give you the quick answer here, but
Yeah.
I think I'd have to know what you think isn't realistic or makes it fake to really address that. And, you know, I don't know if it's something that I could help convince you or not. I mean, I think most of the time, like you said, it's like you're not going to really convince anyone, but
right, yeah.
Well,
see,
I
I
just
just
say
like
the shadows on the moon was one.
Well, I'm not even talking about that. That's not even why I think like that kind of stuff where people are like, oh, there's a shadow here and there's this and that. I strictly go by this basically. And okay, if me, Joe, and Dave went to the moon and we were the first people that went to the moon and came back, Joe, Dave, we get back from the moon and we sit down for our post trip interview and we're sitting there talking. What are we going to do? Me, Dave, and Joe just came home, first dudes on the moon, and we were there to tell the world how it was.
Okay, do you want to simulate that right now? We'll simulate that right now.
I'd be like, I mean, I know maybe like everyone has a different personality or whatever, but I mean, like these guys look like they were in front of a judge getting sentenced to death. Now they could have been tired, they could have been, you know, physically and mentally drained, but like every time these people talk, like Neil Armstrong, they were like, hey, we want to have Neil Armstrong Day. He's like, I don't want anything to do with the moon. You think they would pick somebody before they went to the moon to be like, you're the first dude on the moon and you should be living that the rest of your life. And then he was just like, I really don't want to talk about the moon. It really wasn't a big deal. It's just really not my thing. That part right there just freaks me out.
I think Dave saw something when we were on the moon. Dave, are you comfortable now telling?
Did you really
everyone,
hit the golf ball, Dave?
Did you really? Yeah. Was that a fake golf ball?
I was ready to go back and bring my bike and do my whole routine with a flawless touch. That was my main goal, right?
A flawless touch.
Oh my God.
Why wouldn't they be able to? In one sentence, why are they unable to go back today? Is it because they don't want to, they don't need to, or they can't? I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, well, so let me answer your other question first, and then I'll hit that one. But I mean, I think the kind of people that you're going to choose for that sort of thing, I mean, are people that aren't going to get very excited about things. I mean, the other thing is that they train for those things so many times, know what they're doing, and you know, it goes as expected, and that's what you were supposed to do. So it's not like
there's no excitement in a moon landing.
Well, I mean, there's excitement that it happened, but it's like you've got 100 other things you've got to do successfully to get home. It's just like this is the first step, and now we do the next step. It's not it's not like you got called in the middle of the night. It's like you won the lottery, or hey, you're going to go to the moon.
Right,
it's like something that they've
but
trained
still,
for.
It's something that you train for and you devote your life to, and then it's successful. And it's something that no one else has ever done and no one else has done since.
Well, there's been 20 other people that have been to the moon.
No, I'm talking the United States. I mean, the
United States too. Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying how come like Russia's never gone there or China? No one else has gone there. Why were we the only people to go there? And then all the other people want to be able to say they went there and they weren't able to go there.
Well, it's expensive, and so I mean that's why we haven't gone back. We did our moon missions, and then we transitioned to another program. So actually, the final rocket that we were going to go for one last moon mission ended up getting scrapped and didn't go, and it's actually on display at NASA. But now it's
Joe, maybe
then we
maybe you should give Art your contact, and you could be a financial advisor if that's the holdup. I mean, money doesn't have to be. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Art.
Yeah, no. So, then there's only so much funding. And, really the only reason I think that we ended up going was because we were in a race with Russia. I mean, Russia was trying to go to the moon. We were trying to go to the moon. the government at that point was like, we will give you unlimited money to make this
Anything
happen
you need to
because
go. Yeah.
yeah, which is definitely not the case now. It's like we have pretty big budget constraints, and right now we are building vehicles to go back to the moon, and that's was scheduled for 2024. It's probably going to slip a little bit, but we've got test flights coming up and things like that. So now we're splitting the space station budget with the moon budget as well. So
yeah.
So Ray, if
All right,
they do it again,
I'm about
will you
halfway
believe it?
there, Art. You got me about halfway there.
wow.
Who's in charge of
Ray-
the moon budget?
So Ray, the question is, if they do it again, will you believe it? So if Art's on the call in whatever
Oh, well,
2
I
years,
think, yeah, I think if they went to the moon now, you might be, well, one, if you're into the conspiracy of it, you'd be able to fake it really good because technology now is really good, but
Because all the aliens would be twerking. Is that
yeah,
how it would
but
be?
Art, what do you think about the whole alien thing and specifically the Bob Lazar thing, if you know anything about that guy?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've personally not seen any alien type evidence, but I'm open to it. I think, there's a pretty good chance there's life other places. And yeah, I mean, most of the stuff I've seen has been pretty hokey stuff, but there's been a few things. I mean, it's just as a layperson, like some of these military things that guys have seen from flying jets and stuff like that. That's just been kind of unexplainable. And then
Right.
I listened to the Bob Lazar thing too. I mean, yeah, I thought it was fascinating.
Well, yeah, the thing is the whole technology, like if NASA or the military could get a hold of that technology that he claims that was, how they propel themselves, like bending gravity and stuff, like, it could almost be the end of the world, if the wrong guy got the whole, that technology. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it was entertaining, and I mean, I don't have any reason not to believe him, but I just, it's just a standalone thing. So,
yeah.
I got one. So speaking of the parallax or whatever, so when I was in 8th grade, it was just around time change. And I don't know which time change it was, but it was the time change that was from like 86 or 87. And I had just begun riding or I was just about to start riding. And I was walking down the street. We're going to go to the bus stop. And I was looking up in the sky because that summer we were watching like the meteor showers, stuff like that. And there was a star going very steadily across the sky. Today, I would recognize that as a satellite. Right? So it was going, and then it stopped. And I was like, what do you mean stopped? And I watched it, and it went like this. So it made its trajectory was like the shape of a P, a capital P. And I understand that as things are like rotating like this, if you observe them linearly, it can look weird. But is that an aerial maneuver which, observed from a ground station point, is explainable with some type of, I don't know, typical satellite trajectory?
Not that I can think of right now. I mean, maybe there's something I'm not thinking of, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think your expectation is right that it's going to be a straight line. I mean, once you get something in an orbit, it's going very fast, right? I mean, like the space station is like 17,000 miles an hour. So you don't just all of a sudden, make a circle or something like that. You don't have air or anything or wings to make a turn. It's like you've got to fire jets in the opposite direction to make it work. So yeah, nothing that I can think of, but maybe I'm missing something. I don't know.
I carried that with me for several years. That was very disorienting to have seen
Yeah.
as a kid who grew up on Star Wars.
Yeah. But the thing about stuff like that is, yes, it was something that's unexplainable. It doesn't mean that there's an alien driving it. I mean, there could be some other explanation. It's just, I don't know. That's
right. you don't think that like the alien was like, oh man, now we got to watch this guy for all of his life, and
Yeah.
we have to talk to him telepathically and convince him that he's talking.
Well, I mean, how do they know how many people?
Bars.
How many people saw this?
Yeah, that's right. How many other people? I mean, if I walk back, it's around the time that I maybe very soon before I started writing. But it couldn't have just been some kid in Brunswick, Ohio, who saw that. It must be.
It was probably a
other
laser pointer.
And there had to have been someone else somewhere that saw it.
It was Jose Yanez with a laser pointer. He wanted to be the first guy to see a UFO.
He was drawing Jose.
The back. No, he was doing the
Guy.
The key you saw was the backflip. He was practicing with a laser pointer.
One
All right,
day
let's
they're
talk
gonna
about
call
let's
this the
talk about
Jose
some
flip.
bikes now or something. We don't want
Okay.
Dave
All
to
right,
get mad
talk
at us
about the
again.
bikes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So in the middle part, so ad libs like when Mira did the flip whip over the spine in the X Games and carved over and Fufa-nude on that launch ramp.
What about it?
What does it take to train yourself to have those instincts? Like, do you know? Well,
Who are you directing this question to? I hope it's Art.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I
what do
mean,
you-
I don't know if you want an answer from me. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just skills. I mean, it's something like you've been doing this your whole life, so I mean, you can ad lib because you've got such a bag of tricks. Like if you're someone like Mira, and yeah, I'm trying to think of an experience that I had like that. So actually, this was a competition that you filmed that was in North Carolina, the Trans Am Jam there. And so I had one of my runs, it went great, but there was one trick that I had to just write out of early and I didn't get to do the last part. So they said, okay, you've got time for your final trick. So I went to do my final trick, but in the middle of it, I thought, how am I I want to get that last part of that trick that I wrote out early on. Like, what am I going to do to make that happen? So I did my last trick, but then I figured out a way to put that ending of the trick that I didn't get onto the last trick and made this like super long combo out of it. So, I think it's just a matter of having the confidence that you can make it happen. That I never thought I was going to put those things together, but it's just kind of like the situation drove me to it. And, I think other people feel the same way, or, maybe you just get kind of if it's something that makes you excited about the idea of being able to do it, like to think everyone's going to be stoked on it. I think it just gives you like that extra bit of confidence to go for it.
And you did that one and done in the contest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually went back and watched it not too long ago because, I went from, having brakes for a long time to not having brakes for a few years, and then putting brakes back on for a little bit to just play around. And so that was a video that came up where I had like probably the last contest I rode in before I took my brakes off, or well, not the last one, but, one of the later ones. And so I just kind of went and looked at that to like get some ideas, and then I saw that and remembered that link. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I remember putting that together.
I'd like to see that.
Where did you see it? Where did you find it, Art?
It's on YouTube, and I think if you search Art Thomason, it comes up pretty quick.
Okay.
And you filmed it, and so it's like the last, probably the last 30-40 seconds of the clip.
I think I got it.
Hey, Rodney, where are you
yeah.
located, Rodney?
Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So you're in the same state as old Sisman. Okay.
Yeah, we're a couple hours apart. Okay, yeah, I found it.
Is this the
Yeah,
one?
yeah,
Art?
that's it. Yeah, that's it. But it's probably yeah. I think back
Where
up
should
just
I
a
go?
little bit. Back up just a little bit.
Let's watch it.
Okay, so, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, fire hydrant, looping it out. Fire hydrant in front of us. Nice double fire hydrant. Behind the back. Into a half packer.
Okay, so I think here is pretty much going to be about a ride out from here, but then I had to fit that last piece in. So I did the step over into this half packer, and then that kind of switch out.
Heck,
So
that's not. Oh, wow, that's cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
So when
it's a
did you
great
get
link.
those red socks?
are the socks red
The socks
or my
are red.
shoes?
I saw red. I saw red. Well, let's get a little closer at this. If they were high tops and they had,
Yeah, they're high tops. I think with
Just
red.
zoom it in.
Yeah, yeah, they're high
Oh,
tops
yeah.
with red.
oh no,
I think.
uh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's high top.
but you also had red socks though.
it's possible. I do have some red
No.
socks.
No. All right, false alarm.
Oh well.
I
Heaven
think,
forbid.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. I think
Why is there so
this
many
woman
babies in the
is
background?
super stoked.
She's thinking,
She's
is he
just
got
like-
red shoes or red socks on?
Yeah.
Why are there so many little babies in the background? Was that that Dave's
it's
Is
a
this
Keith
like at
King
a
show.
fair or something?
It's a Keith King show, and he filled the Dorton Arena, and there was like several events going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there like an applesauce giveaway or something that got everyone to come in?
There was that
I love
super,
applesauce.
like they had face painting, they had an antique show,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
had like outdoors. It was, oh, you know what it was? It was like a farm show. It was like they had petting zoo and stuff like that
Oh,
outside.
okay.
Yeah, it was it like a fair maybe? I don't know. And this was just in the
was.
arena during a fair.
Joe could have set up his jewelry booth. He made a killing at it, Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
You know.
I could have set up.
Does anybody
I-
need a scrotum chain? I have a scrotum chain here and a
I-
rock with a hole in
You
it.
know, farmers are
get your-
known for loving jewelry.
It's true.
I can get a diamond put in my corncob pipe. Get that Joe Sisman guy over here to put a fixin' on it.
all grilled out.
It's like at the beginning of the show when you guys are like, people love Dave Norrie. Farmers love jewelry.
You know, honestly, the stuff that sold like in Michigan was blue or with some green, but whenever I went down south, it was orange and red, the colorways. I had no idea. I was fascinated by that. And incidentally, when we went into the gas stations, you know, the water bottle cases similarly matched that color scheme. It was
because of their sports teams.
I don't know
Like-
if it was because of the sports
Maybe.
teams, but it was like red and orange.
But I mean,
Down
if you look,
south.
you know, like Alabama and Arkansas and Texas, you know, they all have red and orange
Yeah,
in
yeah,
their
yeah.
sports teams, and like Michigan is blue. So I don't know if that's related or not.
Could also be politically.
So
it could be
Art, I'm
political.
having a moment like you talking to Dax, where for years I was fascinated by this, and you're like, "Oh, you mean they're sports teams?"
It's just a thought.
It totally makes sense. Yeah.
I
could be
train
conservative
astronauts, so I'm
versus-
probably right.
Well,
could
that
be
has nothing to
Republican
do with my
versus
career.
Democrat.
I'm not a financial advisor.
Could maybe.
Would that suck if your political affiliation actually also indicated your gang colors?
Yeah, that could mean you had to always wear that color. But then it would be really awkward too if you kind of like changed. If you're like, you know, hey, I'm identifying with a different party now, and then it's just like boom out there. You know, you're wearing different colors, or do you wear the old colors and try to hide it? And it's tricky.
How, do you
You're like
transition? Like, do you
independent
go
when
to
you wear
purple
gray.
for a minute?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Or wear
You would have to
blue pants
fade
and a
out.
red shirt.
Like on Zoom, you would be one color, but then you would stand up and you would have a different color pants on.
Yeah. Or you could just do black and white in
Mhm.
Zoom.
What your colleagues? So what do you use? Do you use Moon Zoom at work, or do you guys have like a secure Zoom,
We
a
use
secure
Teams.
video conference?
We use
Mm.
Teams a lot. You know, there's WebEx. There's different things depending on who's running it.
What do the astronauts use?
Same. Oh, you mean to like talk to the ground from space?
Yeah.
It's a similar thing. It's like I don't know the brand of it, but
It's not like a super secure thing where they can edit out any.
We should try and join
Footage.
it one day when they're
Yeah.
doing it. We should
well, I mean, it's just
be like,
yeah. I mean, I
Factor
don't know.
Freestyle from space.
Dave could wear his suit.
I still have it.
Of course you do.
Shouldn't get rid of that.
No, he'll be
No.
on. We can get one. Why don't we do a Factor Freestyle from space? We'll just put our backgrounds on like we're on the moon. Except me, because I don't believe we went to the moon, so I'll just be in the little ship orbiting the moon.
We can't land.
Can't
We're not
land.
gonna land.
We're not going to land. I'd be afraid once we landed, we wouldn't be able to get up. How come when they took off, everyone says there should have been a ton of sand and stuff blowing all over the place, and it didn't. There was no thrust. Explain that one real quick. Art.
No, I didn't know
Are
that there
you-
wasn't. I didn't know that there wasn't.
No, well, that's what all
Sand kicked her.
the conspiracy guys are like. The thrust that it would have taken to get the little pod off the moon to come home to like get back to the orbiting ship would have been like a massive force, and there's like not even like not even one little piece of dust blows off, and they say that it was because it was on a crane and it got lifted off. That's the big thing.
No,
You got to investigate
It had
this more.
spring-loaded legs. It had spring-loaded legs.
It just
'cause
kind of like
landed
just
like
kind of
this, and then they're like,
Joe,
No,
go on the interweb machine and show them what I'm talking about. Just moon landing. Just type in "leaving the moon" and you'll see it.
leaving the moon.
Yeah, and then put the picture up of Dave in his underoos again.
It seems like Ray spends a lot of time on this investigation of the moon landing. What do you think?
Oh no, I've been fascinated by it for years and years. I'm fascinated by it because I want to believe we went to the moon, but I don't know enough about it to. Here we go.
Here you go.
Here it goes.
99 proceeded. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Fire away, Houston.
Just a little
I
dust.
oh
saw,
well.
I
So
saw some
That's
dust.
And then who
something.
filmed it? Who was
Hey,
sitting
it-
on the back filming it? Did
took-
they leave one
who's
guy
sitting?
on?
How did they do that? And how did they get? Was it live footage? Because they're
it's a
putting
camera.
the camera up.
But who tilted
Who's
the
moving
camera?
the camera?
308, your number.
They didn't have remote control cameras back then. They only had human operated
Rover, they
cameras.
had
Who did they
rovers.
leave on the moon?
But so if you'll notice, it took off from the lander, right? So there's a piece that's
Yeah.
sitting on the ground, and it reacted against that. It wasn't sitting in the dirt.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but
all
wouldn't
right, hold
wouldn't
on,
there be
hold on.
a large amount of thrust to get that off? Like if
Wait,
that was
watch.
on,
Right,
Watch.
but it's thrusting against another piece of hardware.
yeah, but wouldn't there be a lot more blowing of the?
There was a lot of blowing.
There's a lot
Yeah,
of
I
blowing
gotta
there.
say, yeah,
Look at all that blowing. There's a
so much blowing.
There's
Look at
no
that.
blowing.
that's
Yeah.
a lot. Look,
I could have
that's
done that in my
rainbow
sandbox.
blowing.
I could have
That's
filmed this
rain-
in my sandbox at night with a flashlight.
That's
No,
more.
you gotta think
That's
like
more
how
blowing than
high.
I had expected there to be.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think
You
we
don't
need
know
to ask
blowing,
Ray.
then.
Ray, you got to film that in your sandbox and submit it to Factor Freestyle, and we will analyze it and see.
I don't think there's anybody in there. I would be if I was near Neil Armstrong, I would be waving to the crowd. I'd be waving to the director of this film.
There's no windows.
There's
So-
got to be a window. How are you going to know where you are?
So, Art, don't you think that the way that they
How do
filmed
you
it was from a
steer it?
rover? They had a rover out that was filming. Is that how they did it?
They don't.
I don't
call
know.
it a rover. They invented the rover for Mars, not for the moon.
Well, you know what I mean. They had some kind of camera that was
Yeah, there was a camera
deployed.
that they left behind.
Oh.
Is it still there?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
Hey.
all that stuff is there. It's just gets, degraded
Probably
over
covered
time
up.
in that kind of environment.
Hey Joe, are there any Flatland tricks named after space, like the space something or the moon this
Yes.
or the
Yes.
what is
yes.
it? Let's hear it.
I invented. It was a no-hand ant rider that I no-hand unwound from, and then I did like a no-hand sort of pivot out in a blind
Yeah.
catch that I called the
And what was it?
Anunnaki,
The what?
which is the Anunnaki is the Sumerian name for the sky people. That is the Sumerian.
You got to make
origin
everything
story.
so difficult.
I know we can't even
I
follow
do.
it, Joe. Where did you come out?
It's the Anunnaki.
A difficult trick must have a difficult name.
I
Yeah.
guess so.
You
Geez.
have to
Hey.
work for it.
Hey Joe, how many tries do you think it would take you right now if you got on your bike to pull a flawless mucus donut
Oh,
on your
so it'd
current
take
setup?
me-
Are
oh
you
my God.
brakeless?
I am brakeless.
I
It
want
would
to see
be-
somebody do a mucus donut today, like in today's world.
What's a mucus?
brakeless.
Yeah, what's a
What's
mucus
a
donut
mucus
again?
donut? Come
I
on.
don't know.
Listen, Joe, tell him
Hey,
if I can
I'm with
bring
you,
the show
Rodney, I
back
don't
to
know.
me, I do it.
I'm very
Let's
interested.
do it.
Rodney, Joe's the only other person that knows what this trick is. I don't remember what it is. Go ahead, tell us what it is.
Well, because you weren't paying
We've
attention
gone
back
over
in the
this.
day.
We've gone over this trick several times.
At dinner,
Oh.
we talked about it in length.
Yeah, well,
And
I
of
don't
course,
really want to
like
talk about
always,
mucus and dinner.
Dave
You wanna talk
wasn't
about
paying
mucus and
attention
dinner?
because it had nothing to do with them.
No, because who wants to think about mucus and dinner?
I'll just
Ray?
stop. Watch, here it is. Watch
I
this
saw
trick.
this trick. Who named it the mucus donut?
Come on, look. Look at
It's
that.
a tail whip rebate.
That is a professional rider right there, Dave. Did you notice I didn't touch Dave? Watch this rock walk, Dave.
That was a good rock walk.
Yeah.
Hey,
well,
which contest was this at?
1988,
Jersey.
Wayne, New Jersey. Please tell me
Okay.
you were there. Were you
No, I
there?
wasn't. I was
Oh.
not.
Every episode of Factor Freestyle, I try and get this on. This is my second time, possibly
I
third.
know he's doing
That's
pretty
awesome.
good, Joe. I think
Yeah.
he's doing pretty good.
Joe's falling for all my stuff. I love it. Look, he's
I
still
can't
going.
get
He's
enough
just
of it.
gonna. He's gonna. Man, I hope I.
And
And this is a
ripped it out of
flawless
this one.
run so far.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I'm no Dave Norrie,
But your pedal hit the ground right there.
that's
Oh.
what you're allowed to. Pedals are allowed to touch.
Oh, okay.
and
And
I
what
love.
is it-
I
what did you
love
say,
Art
Ray?
for
Only do
knowing
the
I hadn't
tricks.
touched yet. That is wonderful. So I'm out of tricks at this point.
Oh, so when
wait, no,
you did
rivet,
tail whip
rivet!
from the peg.
Now I'm officially out of tricks, and my time is up. But I just kept going. So, see, done. I'm done. They announced me.
I've
But what do
totally
I do?
watched this for fun before.
Watched it for fun. You should have
Yeah.
learned from this. You should have
This-
tried the mucus donut.
Honestly, yeah,
You
you're not
fell on
off.
that
That's
last
not a-
trick, Ray.
It's not a touch after your
After the
if your
buzzer.
time's up, it doesn't count. It's just like if
Oh,
I
that's-
did a triple whiplash, it wouldn't have counted after my time. Don't try and
Okay.
debunk my greatest run ever, Dave.
Oh, I
Hey,
see.
Rodney,
Okay, I got it.
why don't you want run breaks, right?
Yeah, totally.
You should totally film a mucus donut.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah,
it
you
would.
should.
It would take me a little while to learn.
No, it
I
wouldn't.
could- You don't think?
No, it's a very easy. It's all breaks, man. You just do a half a tail whip one way, and then you
Yeah.
jump back off the pegs. You start your right foot on the peg, left foot on the
Okay.
pedal.
Okay.
You just jam the brakes, and then you switch your feet, and then the one peg, the one foot on the something. I don't know. Joe, tell him.
I'll figure
And
it out.
Rodney, yeah, I'm gonna send this video to you.
Yeah.
You can be the first one in 30 years.
He should
have
recreate.
learned.
Can he recreate
You
my
should
run?
recreate it.
And recreate the
Oh,
name. Come up with a
boy.
better name than Mucus Donut.
Rodney,
up
could
with a
you do
better
it in a
name.
sandbox?
No,
That'd be good.
no.
You could film it in the sandbox, and if you pull all your tricks, I'll say it was fake.
It would probably kick up a good amount of rescues, though.
You're gonna need a crane to be able to
Yeah.
pull you out of the sandbox. Though.
Yep, you're gonna need a set, and you're gonna have to get a remote camera to film it because no one else will be able to because you'll be the only one there.
Hey Ray, the only
It's
question I
actually
have
not a
for you
bad.
is,
I'm going to try and just replicate that whole run.
Yeah.
yeah, perfect.
That's
That would be
that's
awesome.
kind
Dude,
of
that
where
would be
I'm at.
so awesome.
Like,
I mean,
Why don't
think
we
how
have-
hard
can
that
we-
would actually be,
Yeah.
though, to do
we
someone's
have-
whole run the exact same way.
Can we have a factor freestyle contest where somebody has to do my run up until I do those big zag nuts that didn't count? The last trick was the tail whip to rivet. We should put up.
Hey.
I'll put up a cash prize for anybody that can submit that exact run.
So Andy Pandemic offered a round of funding for the show, and I'm wondering if perhaps we can use that funding as the prize
No, we
money
should
for
we should use
whoever.
race funding. No, Andy already said
Yeah,
he
don't
doesn't
use
have
poor
his-
Andy's.
Okay.
How much should I put up? What's a good number?
I think $5,000 is probably a good start.
yeah, that's fair.
$5,000. I was talking
That's
like
reasonable.
50 bucks.
I think so. Yeah.
$5,000. If I had
That's
$5,000, I wouldn't
excessive,
even
I
be on
think.
this show. I'd be doing something with it.
Well, that's what Joe told me to say. $5,000 for everything. Anybody asked me to do anything,
Oh.
it's $5,000. It's not. It hasn't worked yet, but that's what Joe
It's sound
said.
financial advice.
Exactly. Yeah.
From a jewelry man.
Why don't we?
Yeah.
Why don't we start? Why don't we start the bidding where Ray can seed it with a $100 donation, and then we can accept increments of $43 from people.
Would it be too
Perfect.
cheesy to start a GoFundMe page to get money for somebody to recreate my run from 1988?
So GoFundMe can't be used for contests, so you have to
Oh, okay.
come up with something else.
That sounds like a financial advisor's advice
Yeah.
right there.
Can we go
Exactly.
door to door
See?
and sell
I'm telling you.
Reese's peanut butter cups?
Dave,
So, Ray-
can you make a page on the website with a new event where people can donate $43 to whoever can create
And
recreate
anybody can
Ray's
enter.
run.
Anybody can enter
Anybody
this
can
contest.
enter.
Well, here's what I think it is. Ray has to have a condition. So his condition is that he wants to relive this childhood memory, and he needs someone to help him by.
I
by
can't ride
basically-
anymore. I can't
Yeah.
ride anymore
But-
with my broken leg.
Yeah.
And
So
this
he
could-
has.
This could
It's
make
not a
Rodney
contest.
famous.
But
It's
what
not
were
a
you
contest,
riding
Joe.
to in that, Ray?
What's that?
What were
Rodney?
you riding to? What
Was I
song?
riding?
What song
What
were you
song?
riding to?
Oh, the song I was riding to was "Rock and Roll" by Led Zeppelin.
Okay. All right.
Been a long time since I
Yep,
rock
yep.
and roll. That one.
Yep.
There we
yep.
go.
So Joe,
So
I
far,
think
the
we can get
funniest
around.
quote was "Do it and film it in a sandbox." That was the greatest. Oh,
Hey,
I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
I just was going to say, Joe, I think we can get around it because it's obviously it's his childhood dream. He had this flawless run. What did you place in that contest? Is this the same contest where you
12th.
almost got overall?
Yeah, 12. I got 12th place in 19 and over expert. I got 12th out of like 120 riders or something crazy like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
So
too
this
is I
is-
had the crowd behind me too. That kind of helped because at that point, both magazines were like putting me in every issue because I was friends with them. So, like,
Can
Carl
I
Ross
just-
put me in every issue for 2 years.
let's just look back at the way Ray and his funny awesome had infiltrated the
Yes.
liberal elite global BMX media of the
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
It
totally.
is so incredible. Like,
Well, what about the whole way I
Ray,
started?
how,
Did I explained why I started entering contests, right?
yeah,
Do
because
you know that?
they kicked you out of the pit.
They
and
kicked me
Magoo
out of the
signed you up.
pits. And then we were going to California, and Magoo asked me, he goes, do you have, or he goes, you bring your bike to these things, right? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, well, I signed you up for the contest next week. I would always get a plane ticket with Gary. Like Magoo would say, hey, is Ray going? And then when I would get there, I would just give him money for my plane ticket. And then, but the contest before that, I got thrown out of like the pits because I was goofing around, and I was up in the stands bugging Magoo the whole time, and he couldn't take it. So he's like, shit, for $20, I'll just have Ray enter, and he won't be up here bugging me. So
There's
I went
some parent who is like, I finally got rid of Ray.
Exactly.
Don't worry,
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah, he
And
got rid of me.
Magoo's like, I've got to get rid of Ray.
Yeah, and so it would have been my one and only contest because I like didn't have a uniform. I only had a couple tricks. And I was just going to go out there just to I wasn't even going to enter. I was just going to just not enter. And then Gary was like, dude, just go out there and just do a frame stand, do something. And so, so I went out and I did a couple tricks. And I remember there were 79 people in my class and I got 78th. I beat one kid. And then I just entered every contest after that. Cause I was like, well, shit, if I didn't get last, I'm not the worst. No one wants to be the worst. And I wasn't the worst. And that gave me enough momentum to be like, you know what, maybe if I can learn a couple. I really had a hard time learning tricks. Like I could not, I have zero skill on doing a trick. Like it took me months to do a tail whip. It took me months to learn a rock walk. I've probably tried a whiplash 7,000 times and I've never gotten my back wheel a quarter of the way around. I can't do it. Just unable to do it. So, so the run that you were just watching, to do that run, that took more time and effort than anybody else's run in that contest. Like it took me years to do that.
Best run ever. Like seriously. And this is the thing. This is my point with Joel Shalhorn and hey, I did something in 3 tries. I'm like, dude, that's actually not a trick. The trick is what you have to do to yourself to do the move. That's the trick. Yeah. And so that may be the most perfect flawless run. That may be the most flatland run in history.
It's a good run.
Yeah. And I was sponsored at that contest. R.L. Osborne sponsored me. He paid for my entry fee and gave me all like hammer stuff because I never had a uniform that would fit me. Like there was anything.
You were all hammered up.
All hammered. I had hammer shin guards, knee johns, whatever they are. I had a hammer shirt. I had hammer shorts, and I had hammer stickers. And I was on the best part is I was on a 1984 Harry Leary turbo race bike because I had never gone into a bike shop and bought a bike ever up until maybe I forget when. It was a while, I don't know, but I didn't have a bike. I didn't have anything, and so I had a Moto Mag. Good.
I have a brilliant idea.
Let's hear it.
So Dylan Osborne is he's very creatively monetizing his father. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that Dylan has yet figured out how to relaunch the Hammers brand. I believe I have a brilliant idea for how to relaunch the Hammers brand.
I know someone that
involves a friend of mine. And good, it involves a friend of mine named Ray. Ray is going to reshoot all of the R.L. Osbornes, the Hammer Reds. So like if we get a couple of girls with big 80s hair and we can shoot the No More Pain.
I thought you were going to have Ray dress up in what the girls were wearing.
No one wants to see that. No, but if I could be R.L. Osborne, that would be. Oh, and I have a big like 29 Ripper that I could sit on. You know what I mean? So it'd look even better. It'd be a big dude on a big bike.
How
many ads do that?
Joe,
we have to look up all the ads.
Joe, you know how everything works like totally in synchronicity here, right?
Yeah.
We just got, so I just want to make an announcement here so it's kind of known. We got somebody that commented on on our channel, and they're going to donate to Factor Freestyle every issue that they've collected of Go Magazine, BMX Plus, Freestyling, and BMX Action from 1984 to 1989. So we can actually go through there. Yeah, this guy, he's in Cleveland. David,
Yeah.
I think his
He's
name
the
is David
dude.
Warren.
You met him, Ray. He was at the coronation. That's when he said, "Hey, you're Dave Norrie," and he walked upstairs.
that
and he
dude.
saw-
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
That
guy.
guy's giving you guys all his magazines?
That's
Yeah, but
That's
wait,
amazing.
worth
just a second. So
thousands
just
on the what?
Well, just a
Just to
second,
look up-
Ray. So that $20 that you paid him, that $20
Yeah.
you paid him to say, "Hey,
I mean,
go say, hey, Dave
Dave.
Norrie, I want your autograph."
Dave,
That
I made that
$20
up.
has paid off because now
Dave, I made that up. Please
No, you
stop
didn't.
saying that. I did make it up.
you did not make that up. I know that guy was.
I've used that line 700 times when I'm with somebody and somebody gets recognized.
So
Come
anyhow,
on,
that
dude.
$20 has
Wait.
now got a whole library donated to Factor
That's
Freestyle.
amazing.
And Joe, after he finishes that bottle of water, he's going to
The
drive down
trash can
there
of water.
Well, Joe just
Cleveland,
switched
right?
containers.
Joe, you've committed to this, right? You're
What
going
are
to
you
drive down
talking
there and
about?
pick
I
up these
have-
magazines.
Yeah, why do you have two?
The
Because
astronauts
this
don't even
is
have
my
something
hot
that big
tea.
to pee in.
So this is my hot tea, which incidentally I only
Oh.
ever steep for 4 minutes. Like
Because of
every,
what?
every time
I
because
told you.
of Ray. And it has a schedule, and this is the one we said at 5 a.m. to wake
see
Brett up with this bullshit.
Okay, so
Ah.
Joe, why don't you call RL right now and see if you can get on the call?
Wait,
let's
why did
pitch
did that
RL.
guy really give? How's he giving you all those magazines? Why would he get
That's
rid of all those?
He was so
I mean, I got
stoked.
rid
He
of all
wanted
mine
them
and
to
just sold them
go.
because I was sick of them. But
Ray, he's
That's
not
a lot
getting
of
rid of them. Wait a minute, Ray. He's not getting rid of them. He's
He's
you
giving
said
them
he
a
was
new-
giving
the
them
next
to
new life.
you.
Wait,
Well,
he's giving it to him, but
This
he's
is
not.
like this
Hold
is
on,
like
he's
Luke
not-
Skywalker's Scott's lightsaber. Like it will get passed along to
Yeah,
people
he's
who will
not
do
giving them away. He's
certain things with
donating it
it,
to a
and we'll-
cause. He feels like we're going to take that collection and actually do something with it. And here we are. We're going to find every Hammer ad in there and recreate it. And Ray's going to be the star.
Hey, Joe, as
Oh.
a financial advisor, could he write those off on his taxes that he donated them to you?
They're worth a
Absolutely.
lot of money.
Yes,
they
he
really
could.
are.
He could.
Yeah, I mean,
He
some
could
of them
live
are,
for
yeah.
3 years, I'm sure, with the write-off.
'Cause
Ah.
I've been trying to get a full run of Go again since I've started riding.
We
It's
got
hard
'em.
to do.
But we're not selling them, Ray. We're not selling them.
And he's not giving them to you.
No, he is giving them to us, but he's
Then,
donating them
then when I
to the
said,
cause.
why would he give them away? You said he's not giving them away. He's donating them. What I'm getting at is he is relinquishing them to you, never to get
Yes.
them back, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And it just sounds like, you could make copies of these ads and, he could make copies of the ads and then just keep the magazines or sell them. There's nitwits out there that buy that crap.
Well, maybe one of the
I
things
bought
that we
some.
do.
Rodney being the number one nitwit.
So I have an idea. So maybe what we could do
I'm on maybe
is
10 or 12.
have like go through the collection on the show and build stoke, and then we could find a buyer who would offer him like his a Tesla for the entire collection, and so we can broker that.
You
And
know
then I
what?
could
That
just
could
take a
be
small
that could be the
advisory fee.
prize for the person that does my flawless run. Like
A
to
Tesla?
give them something, giving some like you can give anybody money. You can get money anywhere. Where do you get a
You
whole
can.
set of magazines? This makes it 1,000 times crazier for people to enter because now you can win something that doesn't exist everywhere. How many people
That's
have
right.
every issue or whatever?
Yeah.
Something to consider, though. Something to consider is we'd have to be able to ship all those magazines to the winner.
We will drive them
We will
to wherever they
drive
are.
them. We will drive them. We will drive
And then
Rodney's
them.
not
we-
doing nothing.
On
All he
the
needs is that
road with
mid-afternoon
Factor
nap and he can
Freestyle.
do it. He'll put on his
That's
peanut
right.
shirt
Yeah,
and
I'm
drive
ready
it.
to go, yeah.
Wait, Ray, you're a driver, right?
Yeah, I drive for a copy center, but I don't leave King of Prussia, so
But you could drive copies of a magazine, right? I mean, yeah.
I could, but I don't. I only work till 2 every day. I don't go very far. I
How-
stay very
how many
local.
international viewers and listeners are there?
Seven.
Oh,
Why
if the
don't
kid,
somebody
if
from,
the
like,
kid
Europe?
is in Japan,
You're gonna have
Yeah,
to say like
forget it.
continental
You gotta
US or
you gotta
something.
do it when you're buying like the records from when you were a little kid. We only ship to the something 48. What's that called?
The
Continental.
Lower
Continental
48.
48.
Yeah.
Continental, yeah.
We will get
Maybe
these
they'll come over
magazines to
here.
the winner.
Okay,
You
so
know-
what's your
I
chance
want
of
those
getting
magazines.
RL on, Joe? Because I know you're
I
good buddies with him.
just texted these guys. I said, hey guys, we have an amazing idea. We'd like to pitch you right now. Can you join the show?
Oh,
Did
they're
you
gonna
send the
jump
link?
on that?
Did you send the link?
No, they're gonna have
Yes,
to
I
guess.
sent the link. I sent
Good.
the link. Thank
Okay.
you for checking in on me. Hey, Joe, did you send them the link?
Did you
Joe,
send?
did
Did
you
you
do
send
the
the link?
Rob Lowe quote? Do it again.
Did you do the Rob Lowe quote? Hey,
Take
Joe,
another
do you
sip
have
out of your
an
trash
end
can,
for the
Joe.
show? Hey, Joe, do you have a saddle rod? Okay, sure. All right, got it.
I don't even understand the saddle rod. What is the saddle rod? What?
And what's the frog bar? I don't know what the
And what's the frog bars?
is.
Can you please
All
help
right,
us all
so
understand?
so randomly out of nowhere, Chad DeGroot sends me a picture of that frog bars of
Was
that
it just
like
turned around
stem.
backwards? Like did somebody put their stem on wrong?
Yeah, somebody just put their stem on wrong, and Chad.
Wait, how do we know that it
sent
was
it to
wrong?
me.
Maybe they did it intentionally. They were trying to be creative. This is freestyle, guys. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, Joe.
Okay.
How do you know? How come you
Could have
assume it's
been.
something wrong? You need to get that
Well-
guy on the show, Joe, and ask
Yeah.
him, like, was this something you did out of wanting to stand out, be creative, be different?
The first
So-
kick turn
so
Bob
all
Harrow
I-
did. Do you think somebody looked at it and went, that nitwit didn't even jump that ramp. He went up, slammed on his coaster brake, and came back down. This
Exactly.
freestyle stuff sucks. That's
Look,
not what
all
happened,
I'm
Joe.
saying is Chad texted me randomly one day. This is let me share with you how this all started.
So this
Um,
came to his shop.
this is the screenshot of the text that I got from Chad. And then
And what did he say?
Yeah.
he didn't say anything. He said nothing. It
Yeah,
just
and that's-
2:01 on this day, it shows up. And I said, this is an alien frog who comes to Earth to give people wisdom. He conquered Saddle Rod. And then that's when I began the frog bars with like the scripture that is always ending.
But
with
it's not the
chapter
bars
43.
that look like a frog, it's the stem. So it's frog stem.
Frog
You're gonna have to
stem,
redo it.
right?
You're gonna have to redo it.
Redo.
Yeah,
have to
it's
redo
a
it.
frog stem.
It's frog
Well,
stems.
it's
It's frog
this
stems.
whole time, frog bars. And by the
Stem.
way, like I was riding one morning, and I was getting a little bit like tense, and I thought of competitive vaping, and I started laughing, and I hit a bunch of tricks. So like whenever because I have from time to time, basically constantly have ridiculous thoughts in my head, and now I can put them in the voice of frog bars speaking through space to me.
Hey, Joe, another
And
thought you have to
that's how it
consider, though.
started.
Here's a couple things. So that stem has been custom painted, it looks like. The bolts, he probably had to go to the hardware store and find extra long bolts. I don't think it was a mistake. I think he intentionally did that, and he wanted to
But
see if
why?
it held.
And
Why?
unless those
Yeah.
bolts are hanging on by like one thread.
Yeah, but yeah, maybe we got to see some footage of him riding. Maybe you wanted to see if it was going to hold, and just see like does it have to be that way?
I'm talking
Hey, that
to
wasn't
RL.
Chad's bike, was it? That was like a customer at the shop, right?
Right? Yeah, as a customer.
Oh, I don't know where it. I don't know whose bike it was.
It
But
looks
it
like
doesn't look like.
It
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah, it
No,
looks like
not at all.
someone that owns that bike would be experienced enough to not make a mistake like that, most likely. I mean, it
Yeah,
looks
my
like
point
a,
is- Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's look at it again, because what you're saying is that this is falsified, because you believe. Okay, so this is outside. All right. This is what, a Terry frame? Is this a titanium frame?
I don't think it's titanium.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know,
But these are pretty long bolts, actually.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think so. Even with just 2 threads in, it's still, they got to be extra long.
yeah.
Do you think that perhaps Chad invented this and then sent
Yep.
it to me? But I didn't.
And
finish.
said nothing. And said nothing and thought, okay, where's Joe going to go with this? I'm not going to
Do you
say
think-
anything and just see where he goes.
Do you think this was a setup?
And so Chad's just sitting back and laughing now.
He's just cracking up. And then he's saying now he's trying to basically explain himself to everybody on Factor Freestyle what this is and how this came to be. And we're all just like, Joe, really?
All right. So I'm engaging with RL right now. He says he doesn't know how. I think he means he doesn't own Hammer anymore.
All the
Then
better.
go to whoever he sold Bully to, I guess.
Or can we
Probably.
just come up with a different name, but play off the Hammer?
Nah. We'll put what? How about this? We'll use 3 M's.
Yeah, that's good. I was thinking Hlammer, but yeah, 3 M's, that's better.
I think this would be great. And then with Ray in it, with Ray, arguably it could be
What's wrong? What
artistic
happened?
parody. I'm.
What are you guys
chatting
talking about? I
with-
just left.
I'm chatting with RL, trying to get him,
Tell RL,
convince him
Ray,
to join.
Tell RL that Ray's on. I haven't talked to him. I haven't seen him in 20 years. Get him on there quickly. Say, please come on. Ray wants to say hi. And I'll call him Buff, and then he'll hang up.
I think this is a great idea.
Why do you have pictures of me up there? What's that all about?
This is your Facebook page, and then I
Oh, okay. I got you.
messaged RL.
That's his
This is-
screensaver. Don't you know that's his screensaver? Ray?
It should be. Oh, Joe, and we also have to discuss why I had you blocked.
Oh, but we haven't shared, but yeah,
I don't know if Dave will get mad because I'm hijacking the show.
I know. Come on now, Ray. You need your own.
You'll probably
show.
want to hear one.
Actually, I have something I need to talk to Joe about, but it's more of a financial question. Maybe you can do after the show, so that I don't want to, embark too much on our.
So okay, so let's get a cue going. Ray, please help me understand how it is
Why you
that I
were
was
blocked?
on your phone.
It's so good. So probably the timeline, I'm not sure. I'm just going to say 10 years ago. You contacted me through Facebook. I don't think I was friends with you on Facebook. Maybe you were. I don't know. I had no idea who you were. Like I had no idea who you were up until about a year ago. But anyway,
But I helped with that, Joe. Just so you're famous now, and I just want to take some credit there.
But
Wait.
so years and years ago, I had got a message through Facebook from Joe. And it was like, hey, something, and it was just like a random question, and I answered it, like whatever. And then maybe that same day or a couple days later, there's another something, and I just answered it. And like, I don't get a lot of messages on Facebook from people. Like I get very little like messages from people like I don't know. And then he asked me something else, and he asked me something else, and he's like, hey, one of my friends is having a something. Can you post this on something? And then something, whatever. And just like the few times he contacted me on Messenger on there on Facebook, I was like, this dude's a goddamn Fruit Loop. You had, for some reason, I had given you my phone number because I was sick of like trying to go on Messenger, and I'm like, here,
Is
just
that how I
text
got
me.
your phone number?
Yeah, I'm like, just text me and let me know because I don't always look on Facebook. And then he started texting me, and then I was like, this dude's so weird. I was like, and I asked Eaton, I go, who's this John Sickman guy, something like what? And he's like, who? I'm like, I don't know, it's this dude from Ohio that I think rides Flatland. his name's Jim or John, Joe, and he goes, "Oh, Joe Sisman, yeah, I know that dude." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, he's a fucking weirdo. I'm just gonna, I blocked him because he's ridiculous. And then so I like totally forgot about it. And then when we were doing all these texts, I'm like, why is Joe? I'm like, this is one of the things that pisses me off about Joe. He's trying to do this to make me angry, and it's working, but I can't let him know it's making me angry. So I'm texting, but he's sending him all these text messages, and he's never writing anything. But then in the group text, he would like write shit or something, and I'm like, or no, I would write stuff, and then I don't know, I just couldn't figure it out. And then recently, Joe was like, "I think you have me blocked," and I'm like, "That's impossible. I wouldn't block you because to me, I thought I just got his number when we were eating breakfast at Bob Evans like a month ago, and I was like, I haven't blocked him since then." So I realized about 10 years ago, I blocked Joe because I thought he was weird.
No kidding. That's the true story, Ray. That's
yeah.
Because you were on the show just
so
a couple
funny.
times ago, and you were saying how you would never get any response, and Joe's like, "I think it's the timing. I think it's when I'm in my hot tub," and you're like,
Yeah.
Well, get out
And
of your
I
hot
thought
tub.
that was him just messing with me. I thought he was just doing like the Joe shtick, being a nitwit. And I'm like, okay, well, eventually they're going to be like, ha, ha, ha. And
Oh my
then
God.
when he said, "Maybe you have me blocked," and as soon as he said that, I'm like, wait a minute. I think Joe contacted me like 10 years ago, and I thought he was a weirdo, so I blocked him.
Joe,
And I was
don't
right.
think
He's a weirdo, and I blocked him.
I don't think we should say this, but maybe Ray owes you an apology. I know he hates apologies, but
we're not doing any apologies anymore. I
I
got rid of all the apologies. There's no more apologizing.
what? Who made that corporate decision?
Me. There's no more apologies.
Apologies. We took a vote on it.
Apologies are a show of weakness. If you apologize, you don't have to apologize. You just got to tell somebody.
So Joe, did you get my vote? Because I don't remember voting for that.
No, we didn't. We outvoted you.
It was a unanimous vote early in the show.
Yep.
I mean, we had everybody here.
Yep. You weren't there, so we voted for you.
No more apologies on any Factor Freestyle, or no more apologies on this show.
On this show.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
You can apologize.
Oh wait, no, I didn't mean to say
we just
sorry.
said no more apologies.
We just said no more apologies, Dave.
Stand down.
You weren't that good at apologies anyway, Dave. So
yeah,
I'm getting better though. I was getting better. You got to give me.
You were getting better.
You know, the best apology is just "I'm sorry." You know, I say it to my wife almost every day. "I'm sorry. I'll try and do better."
That is the best.
Yeah.
Especially.
I love how we're not talking about apologies. That's just great.
Why are you filming yourself with a mirror? You're freaking me out.
I'm just getting a different angle. Hey, so Joe, do you happen to have the thing that I mailed you the other day?
Yes.
So I came up
with an idea, and I think it's a brilliant. Maybe this is my ticket to freedom, because I think it's got some legs. And I'm wondering if I could just talk to you quickly about it, then you can follow up with me, email or what have you for logistics. But are you open to at least talking about this for a minute? I don't want to take off.
Would you say that you're open to new experiences?
Are you?
No, he wouldn't even walk through that adult gift store. He's not.
Hey, wait. Speaking of, did you?
Is that where you are right now?
Did you ask Rodney the question about what he does when he gets a hole in the socks?
We get a hole in my socks?
Rodney, what do you do when you have a hole in your sock?
I throw it away.
Oh, perfect.
And what do you do when you're?
Why do you darn them?
With toothpaste. We have received different answers. Monica,
with what? A toothpick? Oh.
No, toothpaste.
Oh, toothpaste?
Hold on a second. We are going to switch topics. Dave, don't do this. You're always trying to mess with me, Dave. Yeah. Okay. So that was the reason you throw your sock away.
Yeah. Totally.
You throw them both away, or do you just throw one away?
I throw them both away. Well,
Ah,
no,
interesting.
it depends. If it's like a
On
white
what?
sock where I have like other same
Tons of
dates,
them.
I'll probably
Yeah.
say, but if it's like a pattern sock, I would probably.
That makes sense. And what about your toothpaste? When you run out of toothpaste, you're almost down the end. What's your process of getting the last bit of toothpaste out?
My wife and I have like a competition with that to see who has to actually get out a new tube of toothpaste.
Great answer. Competition.
So
That's
it's
true.
usually a lot of like twisting and just really like trying to get every last little bit out.
And
I mean,
does
there's a
the
few
winner
different
does the winner take the other one to dinner? Or what's the
I
prize?
think it's just
Bragging
for
rights.
pride, bragging rights. Yeah,
Bragging rights. Okay,
yeah.
great answer. Hey Art, when you get a hole in your sock, what do you do?
Yeah, I throw it out.
You throw it out. Just that sock, or do you throw both of them out?
Yeah, just that. I mean, I think it's the same, kind of the same answer. Yeah, if I've got a ton of them, then I might be able to match it with another one. One that's about to get a hole or something, and then I can take the two good ones and use them together. But
Hmm.
I don't know.
Ah.
And it's kind of funny that you asked
That's a good
though,
technique.
because I don't remember. I haven't gotten a hole in a sock in a really long time. I think the other thing that may happen though, well, I know happens, is that I'll have some that are wearing thin or something like that, and they just stay in my drawer and I never wear them because I'm like, oh, I don't like those socks. And so, years from now, I'll find this pair at the back that I'm like, oh man, why did I hang on to these socks?
Can you ask one of the astronauts what they do if they get a hole in the sock? Because it's really curious. I'm sure Ray will want to know if they actually do get holes in their socks and what they do with them.
Yeah, I mean, I could, but I mean, I'm wondering what
Hey, can you
variation
ask your
and answers
astronaut
you could,
friends?
yeah. I'm wondering what variation and answers you're going to get. I mean,
Oh, Joe,
what would the
Joe,
answer
talk
be
to-
besides
Oh,
throwing
Does
Ray.
them
anyone
away?
darn their socks still?
No,
Does anyone
only
what?
people from the Depression do it.
Yeah.
No, hold on, Joe. Remember all the different answers we've had so far? We've had people.
Yeah, we had several wonderful answers. Monica mends them. She's like,
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's like, socks are kind of costly in Poland, and so she mends them.
The proper term is what Rodney said, darn. You darn your sock. Let's get with it, Joe.
Good job, Rodney. Good job, Rodney.
You darn it, really?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rodney must have had some conversations with like a grandparent. That's the only way he knows that term. He knows I'm right. He knows I'm right.
No, I don't know where I learned that, but yeah. I know.
And we also had people that would take the hole in the sock and like just tuck it around.
Tuck it in. Tuck it around. That was
Tuck
me.
it around. That was you, Ray, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I've also.
I mean, I
heard-
can wear a sock. I can wear a sock with a hole in it for months. And like my wife would be like, "It's about time to throw this one out," and I'm like, "Oh, I can get 6 more months out of that."
Yeah, and Joe, there's been other people random on the street that I've asked, and I get all kinds, because that's kind of the introduction question that I just, when I meet somebody, I say, "And what do you do when you have a hole in your sock?"
So
And I've
when
heard
you
all
ask
kinds of
people
answers.
on the street that question, do you have your phone camera going?
I need to do that. I have not. I will start.
You can
doing that,
ask
Joe.
anyone anything if you are pointing a phone camera at them.
Okay, but
There's
some of the
there's
other
so
answers.
much you cannot get away with if you don't
Yeah.
have a phone camera pointed at them.
Is that the key? So here's another answer. One was that they
Yes,
switched.
that's the case.
Is that the phone case or the case?
It's like, hey, your socks. You got a hole in your socks? What do you do?
Joe,
What do
you
do
and
when
I-
you got a hole in your socks.
You and I both carry the same wallet, and neither of us have a case on our phone.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
getting similar every day. More
I can't
so.
even tell you how excited
Oh,
I
isn't
am
that sweet?
to discover this. So the other day, after we did that show, so when I go over to my other house, Angie has this little thing set up inside the closet. So I take my coat off and I take all the stuff out of my pockets and I take my wallet and I go, "Hey, Ange, Large Ray has a wallet just like this." She goes, "He's cool, of course." Just like that. because she's the one who found me that watch. Or
You mean
that-
wallet?
Wallet,
Your
wallet,
Yeah.
wallet.
How weird is it that that's what my wife bought me that one, the one that I have, because my wallet was just a rubber band, and she wanted me to have something that looked a little more adult for like if we went somewhere and I like whipped out some money to pay for something. She was like, the rubber band thing doesn't work. She's like, so I got you this thing. I think you'll like it because it's just like your rubber band, but it has a better look to it. So your
So
your
cool.
wife and my wife both bought us the same wallet.
Oh man,
And-
this is
Wow,
like
that's
the
good.
coolest
That's good.
thing
Kind
ever.
of, yeah, that's pretty
It's really
crazy.
weird.
Joe, here's
Oh,
the other
this is
answer
so
that I
awesome.
heard on the street that I thought was good about the sock. Somebody had said they
This is
switched.
the other. This is the other that I heard on the street.
They switched their sock to the other side, the other foot, so that the hole, let's say the hole was on the big toe, was then on the little toe, and they were able to get more life out of it. So
Yeah,
again, I
yeah.
think art, you have to remember, there's a lot of creative people out there that think of.
You're
you know,
right. You're right.
So just like the person that
I-
took their stem and turned their stem, you know,
Yeah.
maybe they're
Yeah,
just being
I have actually done that before, but it was kind of like this, as the last time I'm using them sort of thing. But it's like, yeah, I
Okay.
get it. Yeah.
So
In a-
art
In a
Art,
pinch.
on this show, you can be completely honest. Like it's okay. You're Monk's friend. So we want your real, true answers. So let me just ask
Trust
you again.
tree.
I don't think
What
he was
happened?
lying.
Yeah, I think that is what I would do if I right now today went to put on a sock and it had a hole in it. I would just throw it. I would be like, forget this and throw it away. But there have been times in my life when I
Oh.
have switched it to the other foot.
Okay.
If it was like if it was the last, and that's the other thing too. Like in college, I would hold off doing laundry as long as possible until there was like absolutely nothing else to wear because it was a hassle to do laundry. So yeah, you'd get to that last pair of socks that was like the only clean pair of socks that you have left, and then now you've got to do something. And so those are the times when I would do it.
Do you know
Okay.
how to prevent your socks from getting holes in them? Not totally prevent, but how to prolong the sock of getting a hole.
Is there such a
It's the
thing?
si- yes, yes. Now, when this Joe, this is going to blow your mind. Okay,
Okay.
this is coming from my Depression era grandmother. She would say, she goes, if you don't darn your socks, you have to make sure you do something else then. And I was like, what's that? She goes, when you cut your toenails, cut them at night before you go to bed. Because if you cut your toenails and then put on a fresh sock, it'll be sharp. But if you do it when you go to bed at night,
Oh.
I'm tossing and turning and rolling, the friction on your sheets and whatever will smooth down and file down your sharp toenails. And it works. It's true. It's true. You will have less holes in your sock if you do that. And that's coming from somebody who, buying a pair of socks was a big deal back in, 1934. Write that one down, Joe, and use it,
No,
please.
you know what Joe's thinking
So
right now.
I
Joe?
also use an emery board. And
Well, because
so
you're
I'm
always- you have a lot of metrosexual tendencies, like the skin tight bodysuit things, the being in a hot tub to warm up instead of just doing a couple of jumping jacks. You got a very metrosexual. So whatever an emery board is, I'm sure my wife has one, and that sounds like something you would do. And the only reason Joe's laughing right now is because I'm 100% right, but I'm the only one that's bold enough to call him out on his femininity, if that's a word.
Ray,
Yes.
you know what Joe's actually thinking about though? Is he's thinking, how am I going to take this clip of this knowledge, this wisdom that Ray just shared on the show and monetize it? That's what he's thinking. He's thinking,
My
Wow.
I'm gonna
favorite
sell
part.
these.
My favorite part of this season, being focused on life coaching, is when Dave heightens toe clipping to wisdom that will change someone's life. It's the
Exactly.
best. Because it's all about your habits every day. That's how you change your life, is little habits that you can't even see that you do continuously. That's what changes your life. And
Yeah.
Dave fishing for the seed that is the most accessible on ramp. It's like the first free piece of crack
Okay,
We'll get
so
you down the
Joe,
road.
can you tell me if you can bring out the thing that I mailed to you this week? Because I'd like to
Yeah,
see
hold on.
if you
I'll
can
get
if
it.
you can share this, because I have an idea and I need everyone on this call to give me their honest opinion. And it's okay.
I have no
you know,
problem doing that.
Yeah, okay, I got it right. I thought maybe you would sugarcoat it, but just give me the
No.
straight skinny, like the straight skinny on this idea. So I've been thinking about it. I had a lot of time on the plane and a lot of time just in layovers and just, you know, here in Wales.
So I
not-
sent
not
Angie a
lot to do.
picture of it. I sent Angie a picture of it. And
You didn't open the gift with her? Okay,
You're
that,
no,
gonna
I
have
was
to
too
read that. I
excited.
can't see
I
it.
was too excited.
It says
Just read it aloud.
congratulations.
First
I
off,
see
she
that.
goes, she read the headline. She goes, from the desk of Dave Norrie? Like,
Wow.
he
That's
has
cool.
to,
Martin Appario has his own letterhead too. But anyway,
it is a, congratulations.
Dave-
I'm really, huh?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Congratulations. I'm really happy for the two of you. Here's a small gift for each of you to acknowledge this union. Here's a riddle. How can this equation be explained and true? 2 + 2 = 5. Food for thought, best wishes, Dave Norrie. And they are these $2 bills, which are made into rings, which is really cool.
Dynamite Magazine, 1972. That's where he learned it. Don't tell me anything different.
hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's where I take it now, Ray. It's where I go with
Right,
it. So
but I'm
here's-
just telling you, why do you got to turn everything into an argument? I'm just saying that's where you learned it.
Dave,
Okay,
do you have a
sorry.
desk?
I'm sorry. Ray, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to sound argumentative.
It was very
Dave,
argumentative.
Art asked you if you have a desk.
Do I have a desk?
Do you
Yeah.
have a desk?
Oh yeah, I have a couple desks.
Can you describe the desk to us?
Well,
please?
yeah. Which desk did that particular letterhead come from?
So that is a relatively old desk that we bought at a secondhand store, and we probably paid $40 for. It's got a big center drawer, and then it's got 3 drawers on the side. It's a relatively small desk because I have it in a pretty small space, and space is essential. It's where I film 90% of Factor Freestyle. Yeah, what else do you want to know? It's very stained. It's old. I'll take a picture, Art, and I can send it to you.
Okay.
And you have a
it's a
stack of
little-
those papers on the desk to sign and give to people to write letters.
the paper, I have them in the drawer. There's a stack of them. I'm almost
Oh,
out. I
so
need
it's
to
from the
read-
drawer of the desk. You have to. I can print those at work for you if you get a font. Or
From the
something.
drawer of the desk.
drawer
I
of the
want that.
desk.
From the
of
drawer
Dave
of
Norrie.
the desk.
That I want that, Ray. Thank you, please. Because
Sounds
I'm about to be. I have like literally about maybe 20 left, and I.
Well, you
and
can, I mean,
do
if
this-
you want, you can just put them on top of the desk, and we don't have to change it. It'll save you some money.
The
But
desk
I mean,
is
if you're
very
gonna
small.
be that bold of getting something from the desk of Dave Norrie, it's got to be exactly where, like
No,
from
But
the
when he
drawer
wrote
or
it, though,
from-
it was actually on the desk, not in the
It's-
drawer anymore.
right?
I mean,
What-
you could also say from the envelope of Dave Norrie if you're putting it in an envelope and mailing it. To
That's
be,
true.
I don't know. Maybe that's even more correct.
but the
I think
other
that
problem,
is
the
more
other
correct.
problem that I have is this desk is very old. If I write directly on the desk, it's not so easy because it's got a lot of dings. It needs to be redone, and I haven't redone it. So it's actually, it's it's not even from the desk because I'm on usually a pad. So I don't know how we can really cover all that.
So
From the
when I
drawer,
take my
on the pad.
notes, I use the pad. I mean, this is just a stack of paper. 'cause
I have a question. When you write something on letterhead that's from the desk of Dave Norrie, you don't have to then sign it or let them know who it's from a second time. Like at the end, you just write blah 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 blah. Have a great day. So you signed it. Why would you sign it if they already know who it's from?
Because it's personalized, right? You do these personalized.
Well,
little-
that's what. But it's already personalized. It has your name on the top and then on the bottom.
But it's like
When
an
you sign an
autograph.
Overkill.
yeah, Dave, when you sign an autograph, do you sign your like first and last names?
Does he write Haro
You
84
just
I
by
write
accident?
when I sign an autograph, it's first and last name. It used to be David Norrie. So if you have a David Norrie autograph, those are rare. Those are very rare.
Mine
I
only
changed-
say Dave. The ones in my garage say Dave.
Yeah.
Or no,
so that
wait,
was
you didn't sign them. Never mind.
like
Or no, one
like
of them
pre-85. Pre-85, I used to write David.
I'm gonna go
So-
look right now. I think you're full of shit.
What Ray
Did you
said really
practice?
reminds me of something. One time I did a demo with Rick Thorne, and this was in like the mid 90s, and he would write Rick Thorne, and then he would write like 88 or 87, and he would say, you know, I'm not saying that's what year it is. That was just like a year that I really liked, and he would write different years.
So all of Rick's autographs are dubious,
That's
are
hilarious.
dubiously authenticated.
So I have what art, you know what I started to do? I used to do that every year, and then I'd come back and I'd see them from, years ago. And then sometimes I'd see when we did the reunion show, like in Germany in 2009, and a guy comes up with something that says 85, and I'm like, wow, and I write 2009. And I
That's
kept
cool.
going, right? And then more recently, not that I sign a lot of autographs, but occasionally I will. And I'll put 2022. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Then I stopped just recently because I saw somebody do it. I start putting 65.
65.
Why 65?
Come on. How many people are on this call that can't figure that out?
Oh, when you were born?
Correct.
Did you get your first sponsor in 1965?
No, but I think it's just more significant to put 65. It's just
Did you put
instead
your
of
social
doing,
security number too?
yeah.
But
This is my
I do
financial
like.
advisor. This is my financial advisor. So I need to make up a year that I was born. Thank you, Joe. Because I don't want to.
Oh, look at what. Look,
Here we
that's
go.
a tough
So
guy
Dave-
killer.
Dave didn't sign anything. Ron signed it and Brian signed it, but Dave wouldn't give me an autograph. And then this one, Ron
Dave.
signed it, but Dave wouldn't give me an autograph.
Dave,
Yeah.
man,
And there's the
it's Ray.
Wow, Ray. I don't want to say I'm sorry
And-
because I know we can't say we're sorry on the show. But man, that's
there that you didn't give me an autograph either.
But that's
next
unfortunate.
time I
No autograph.
next time I come to Mount Russian. What town do you live in? Russian Mountain. What?
Russia. It's called King of Prussia, Russian Mountain. What's wrong with you?
Next
King of
time I come
Prussia.
to the Russian mountain.
I'll sign it for you. I promise.
Russian Mountain.
Okay, so
Okay, the question is, what year are you going to write? The year that you should have signed it back then, or are you just going to write 65?
Yeah.
I don't know, Joe. What should I do now? I don't want to put my birth year anymore because that's risking my. Dennis McCoy doesn't want to be on the show because he's afraid of identity theft, and so
Yeah.
I guess I should be a little bit more wise.
You just told everyone your birthday
I know.
or your
Just the
birth
year.
year.
Yeah.
That makes you 75 years old, right?
65. Do the math.
It's 2022. Add 10 to your birth year. 75, right?
You
I
I
really
don't know if
this,
you should use
how
this
to-
guy
how
as
to
your
do-
financial advisor. His math skills are a little bit
Yeah, I was gonna
off.
say.
I'm taking a do math in your head home study course right now, and I might have forgotten
But I like
the algorithm.
Art, I liked how he rounded up. Like I'd rather have more than less.
Yeah.
If he would have said I was 42, I'd be like, wait a minute now. But he said I'm 56.
Oh,
You're 57.
No, my birthday's I haven't had my birthday
You
this
haven't
year.
had it yet. Yeah.
Ray, you don't even know my birthday. We're not going to talk about my month because that's even more identity. So
Well,
I
just
will go
tell
back
us
to
the
this-
day and then the month.
I have your address right here. I can do anything I want.
but the day of the
Okay.
week, Dave. What
So
day of the
2
week
plus
is
2
your birthday?
equals 5. Let's do a little round table. 2 plus 2 equals 5. How can
All
that be?
right,
How
this
can that
is
true?
this is what I believe. So
Okay, convince me.
there's two. First off, what Angie said was, so how does it work out? And I go, I don't like riddles. She goes, what do you mean you don't like riddles? I go, because they're always making up their own rules just to get an advantage over you. And so that's what oh, hey, you did sign it. Dave Norrie, 65.
But it's not
Right.
even a Rockville sticker. It's the back of a Rockville sticker.
But that
'Cause
back
Dave
of the
wa-
Rockville sticker, the other side of that sticker is on my bike right now. And it will probably stay on my bike for the rest of my life.
Because I told you to, remember?
Yep. Okay, so go ahead, Joe. What were you saying? 2 + 2 = 5.
2
don't-
+ 2 = 5. It is these two things which are worn in union, adding an additional one, so then that's 5.
Great.
Isn't that
So-
that's the riddle?
Well, that's the point of it. Like, I love
And you
how,
made them in 2 different sizes, which is really nice.
yeah, his and hers.
And is that a 43 condom?
Dave sent me this condom.
Dave, why are you sending people condoms?
Tell them what was supposed to
I
happen.
was
with that
talking to
condom.
Dave. I was talking to Dave, and he was at his father's going through a junk drawer, and so he started he started compiling a bunch of stuff, like this random puzzle piece, a outdated condom.
Yeah, used is totally different.
Yeah,
Yeah, used is a lot different. Whatever this is.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Stop.
those
Wait,
came
stop.
out of the little guns that like shot
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
some.
Do you need that back, Dave?
I can't believe you didn't know what that was. Okay, continue. What else?
And
Those
then
are so fun.
a large amount of stickers. Odyssey.
Those were at your father's?
Because
Yeah,
he
that's
went
what he
to a
told me.
show in 1985. He went to a show, and I obviously gave him stickers.
And then there was a little article on John Wayne.
Wow.
From a TV guide, that my dad collected, all these TV guides.
And a penny.
What year's the penny?
Well, you wrote
Is
a
it
note
a
about
steel
it.
penny?
This
What is it,
penny is from
1940?
1980. This penny is from 1984 when I signed with Haro.
Wow.
Oh wait,
You can't really see that it's 84, but we believe you. Oh, okay. Does the letterhead say from Dave's dad?
well, you weren't at your desk. You weren't at your
From the
desk, and
desk
your
of
dad
Dave's
wasn't
dad.
filled. He wasn't like you. Your dad was a little more modest, not like you, where everything's got to be about you.
From the drawer
know.
of the desk of Dave's dad.
So
Okay, so going back to the riddle, so Joe, that's the whole point.
Was I
is
in the
that
ballpark?
The riddle, it does not have to be there. There's no wrong answer. Isn't that what I even said in the note? Well, I think I sent
No,
that. in the
you,
text.
no, you said, what do you think? You said food for thought.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So
okay,
the idea
sure.
is to think of it in creative. So how can you convince me that 2 + 2 = 5?
Well, so this is a guess. I haven't researched this, but a $2 bill, are you able to sell those for like $2.50 each?
Oh,
And
that's
then
great.
yeah.
Cool.
I have a $2 bill story.
Okay, wait, just a second. I want to hear what Rodney thinks.
I didn't really have, I was kind of scrambling, but I like arts theory.
So it doesn't have to do anything with the $2 bills, because this riddle could be applied if I just sent you the riddle.
So it's really
apart from-
just the significance is the number two.
Well, just the significance of the equation that is 2 + 2 = 5.
Is it the number or is it TWO plus TO?
Oh,
Point
He-
exactly.
He
So,
used the equation.
Okay.
but that doesn't mean that has to be. That's just the equation that I wrote. I love Art's answer. So Art just came up with 5.
Those are
Anybody
good
else?
answers.
I have no
like
idea.
those.
Ray, come on, Ray.
I'm not good with riddles, dude. I'm not good with
I am
riddles.
not. My brain doesn't work that way.
There you go. There, yeah,
It's
that's
not a
good
riddle.
answer.
It's just a way of
It's
thinking
a
about something
riddle.
different. I mean, it's not a riddle that has a right answer.
Oh my
There's no-
gosh. This $2 bill is going for $39.99.
You unraveled it.
No,
Crazy.
I didn't.
Oh.
I was Googling them. Some of these $2 bills can go.
Can
for
I
an
tell my
awful
$2
lot.
bill story real quick, or do you want to
Wait,
finish this answer?
Wait.
Before-
Sorry, I admit I just Googled this. Does this have to do with the 1984 by George Orwell?
Probably. I don't know. I just threw it
Okay.
out there. Tell me what you found, Rodney.
The mathematically incorrect phrase 2 + 2 = 5 is best known for its use in the 1949 dystopian novel 1984 by George Orwell as a possible statement of Ingsoc philosophy, like the dogma war is peace, which the party expects the citizens to believe is true.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a.
I don't think any of us
in
would
the-
have gotten that.
No, but Rodney,
I wasn't aware that Dave was trying to gaslight me. I guess.
Yeah, I guess that really
Well-
is what's.
So that kind of brings up the question. It's like, what is he trying to say with it if that's his reference?
Dave is trying to test my loyalty to him.
That's kind of
If
creepy.
no.
Well, I mean, you get to a certain level of celebrity. It's not like they just hand that stuff out on the corner. I mean, you have to be shrewd. You have to have power plays. You have to be sneaky.
So do you
No,
think
here's my perspective on it. I shared it with you because there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of things, especially now, that's happening where people just fall subject to the norm, right? And we just believe that 2 + 2 is 4. And maybe 2 + 2 could equal 5 if we have different ways of looking at it. Art came up with a great one. He spelled 2 different ways. I came up with
That's
one.
really good. Yeah.
All right, I came up with one. Here's mine. Okay, if you thought about it, and how could you make 2 + 2 = 5? Picture that the toothpicks, there's toothpicks on there instead of numbers, and you make you take 3 of the toothpicks of the 4, and you make a number 4. And then you have the plus sign, and then you have 1 toothpick. 4 + 1 = 5. So I've changed it from numbers to an actual physical object that would actually add up to 5. Are you with me, Art?
Yeah.
Say it.
Mhm.
Say it, Joe.
Um,
Say it, Joe. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm trying to follow algorithmically what you just said, and I can't tell because if you use matchsticks to make this, like,
I can't
I'm
see it.
seriously. Well, try explaining your solution to 2 + 2 = 5 one more time, and I will.
Okay, so you
render
have
it.
you've now taken those numbers and you represented them with toothpicks. So on one side of the equation, you have 4
Mhm.
toothpicks, correct? If the
On
2
one
and
side of
the
the equation, I have
4 toothpicks.
here. Let me render this as you're describing it. 4 toothpicks like this. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
got it.
So now take 3 of those toothpicks and make a 4. It's going to look like a little bit of a funny 4 because the 1 toothpick is going to go away. It's going to look like a 4 that has a really tall, the first part of the 4 has a really tall part. Does that make sense?
Like this.
Yeah. Okay, so there's
Okay.
4. And so
Yep.
that took 3 toothpicks, right?
Yep.
And then the remaining one that's from that side is going to
Yeah.
be, and so you're going to add 4 + 1, and that's going to equal 5.
Well, if we're doing it, so it's actually 41
No, but where's the
because
plus sign?
you don't
The
have
plus-
an operator.
No, but I've just taken the.
You're saying that up here there was a.
Yeah, there
hold
was
on,
an
what
operator.
you're
but that's-
saying here.
It's still the plus is still in the equation. We didn't
Okay,
just
so
lose the
our
plus.
Yeah.
our initial conditions now have to be revised.
Yes.
Okay, so there always was that 1.
Yeah.
And
But
okay.
I will
And there's an
say,
equal sign. And there's an equal sign.
You're also.
I can't
equals-
believe the point of this, Joe, is not to argue someone's answer. It's just to accept that there's many answers to this.
Well, hold on a second. What I'm saying is that you are changing the definitions of the things, and of course, you can make anything mean anything if you actually change the definitions
Couldn't
of
you
the
have
words.
just sent
from
him a
one to the
$5
next.
bill?
Well, wait a minute now. Hold on. So, Joe, how can you prove my solution is not actually adding up? Continue.
That's
So
not
then
possible. That's not possible. That's not possible. What I'm saying is that you altered constraints on multiple dimensions.
is
And
that not how to
and-
look at life? Don't you think you should look at life that way? I mean, that's the whole point, is to
On
alter.
certain times, certain conditions. Yes.
Well, this
that's-
is one of
if-
those times.
I think we're losing Ray.
I'm up. I'm just
Okay, all right.
I'm just waiting for this to be over.
This is one of those times.
Okay,
Well,
but going back to the
that is-
solution, and then we'll drop it. Okay, so if you follow that and you did the 4 plus the 1, and you still have an equal signs, and then you have 5 toothpicks on the other side, does that not equal 5?
Okay, yes, it does. And I'm following you because in your mind, as you work through the world, you have things that are symbolic or representative to you. Sometimes this is a phone, sometimes this is a status symbol, and those things will have symbolic value in your mind. You can change that symbolic value by thinking about it differently. This is what happens with people who are dealing with trauma, people who are dealing with maybe they had ascribed my bike, the shoes I wore in that contest were jinxed. They were bad luck, and so that's something that you can ascribe a significance in your head, and you can change that. Like the shoe it's still the physical form. You don't look at the shoe and say, oh, this is a bottle of water. You say it's a shoe, but you reascribe the significance in your head. So at a certain level in the shamanic study of Huna, this is on the second level of reality, which is symbolic. You absolutely can alter those symbols so that you can have a completely different outcome. That only works on the second shamanic level of reality. It does not work if you are stuck in space with duct tape and calculators and other random.
Welcome to Factor
rocket parts.
Freestyle.
Look at Ray.
I'm trying to get even the guy that loves getting off track. I'm like, will they just please get back on track? Oh my God. It's 5:30 and we're talking about Dave should have just sent him a $5 bill and we would have saved the last half hour.
So now we'll wrap this up with what makes you great is the habit of getting back up and trying again, which is what we're going to do to rescue the show. Because it builds confidence so you can do stuff when things don't go as planned, like this show. So let's round table that to wrap up the show. Art,
Can
what do
you
say
can you
about
ask
that?
that
Yeah,
question?
so-
again?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
ask the question again.
Too long.
I'm up.
So what makes you great is a habit of getting back up and trying again after things have gone horribly off track. What do you have to say about that, Art?
Yeah, so I think one thing for me, I think like all Flatlanders, I've had some injuries. I've had a broken leg, broke some ribs, separated my shoulder. I've had different things that have happened like that. And, I know this sounds kind of weird, but it's like there's something kind of enjoyable about coming back from those injuries. And, and like with the case of the shoulder, for example, or the ribs, going out on your bike and just seeing like, what can I do with this condition that's not my normal? Can I do this trick? And so with the ribs, I would try something and it's like, oh, that hurts. It hurts too much. I'm not going to be able to do it. And then I would kind of try it again, a little, a couple more times. And then I would find a way to do a lot of things that initially would cause me discomfort when I tried it. But somehow then I was able to, whether it was maybe I was not committing enough. So I was like pulling on muscles that caused that pain. And then once I committed, it didn't happen. Whatever it is, you're finding a way to, it's a new challenge, if you will, to like overcome this thing that set you back. But to me, it's kind of the same process of learning a trick. It's like there's this thing that I couldn't do in this condition, and I figured out a way to do it. So it's rewarding. And I mean, yeah, I think there's also a little bit of a risk. I think we all probably have some level of enjoying risks. And so, yeah, there's that also of like, man, I can't really fall on this. It's like, I've got to be on my game and like, not make this injury worse.
Ray, what do you say about that?
What do I say about what Art just said?
No, about the original topic that Art.
Oh, the original topic. Well, for me, if I'm trying something and I fail at it, I either throw it out or pay someone to do it. That way I don't have to figure it out, which, I mean, I heard a quote, or I heard Steve Jobs say this, where he liked to hire lazy people. Did you ever hear that one? Why he liked hiring lazy people? It's the greatest answer ever, because it's probably true. He said, I like to hire lazy people because they figure out how to get stuff done the fastest. Because sometimes in a situation, he'd be in, he needs the people that are really smart and dedicated, and when they fall down, they get back up and do it again and again and again and again until they succeed. Or you could have somebody like me that's like, fuck it, just pay someone else to do it, and then go on to the next thing.
It depends on what it is.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, I think, I've failed at a lot of stuff and then figured it out, and then felt extremely happy once I realized, hey, I did that all by myself. And then I've also had a lot of times where I was like, I can't figure out how to get this wheel back on this goddamn lawnmower. I've been doing it for 45 minutes. Fuck this. I'm taking it back to Home Depot and let them do it. So I should be working for NASA. I could figure out some stuff, man. I mean, tell them, Art, I'm already on there as an astronaut.
I'll try that when I go back to work tomorrow. If there's something that we can't get fixed, I'll be like, just take it to Home Depot and see if those guys can do it.
Yeah, see if Home Depot can do it. Because Home Depot has whatever the problem NASA has, there's only one NASA. How many Home Depots are there? There's a billion of them. So there's probably somebody there that can figure it out, So there you go. I mean, look, I'm an astronaut already. Check out my page, Joe. Tell them, I became an astronaut without even trying. I had one year at Harvard, and what am I again? I have a degree
in space.
In space. And I wrapped that turban up in one try. So,
hey, Ray, I've got a line for you that, I mean, I guess you're married, but it's still a good pickup line. And so you could say
I still use pickup lines. I pick up chicks right in front of my wife, and she just shakes her head.
You could say that you became an astronaut because you wanted to see Uranus.
Oh, that's not a pickup. Maybe you mean her anus. I have yet to see.
Yeah, but that's what you have to say is.
Why don't you guys role play it? We heard
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh,
so Rodney, what do you have to say about this getting back up?
I think it depends on what it is. It's definitely gratifying to like try to figure things out. I think freestyle is a different thing though, because like we're doing that because we enjoy doing it and it's fun. So it's a lot easier to, pick yourself back up and keep doing that because we like doing it. It's a lot different if you're, I don't know, installing a water heater or something that isn't fun at all and you can't figure it out. Like that's it's different when it's a hobby versus like when it's I think there's a different mindset there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting that you say that, because I feel like I kind of make them all the same thing. If it's like, hey, I'm gonna get this water heater done before I ride today, or before I do this thing, like that's my goal for today. It's like, I mean, I will not stop doing it until I get it installed correctly, or maybe it's obviously broken and there's nothing I can do till I get this new part. But I mean, it just becomes like the thing that I focus on, that I, kind of like with riding, I get like obsessed with it. It's not that I necessarily enjoy it, but it's just like I want to get it done. So it's cool to just to hear that it's like you got a little different take on it.
Well, I think it's a matter of like Ray said. So sometimes if it's something like that, you just there is a point where you might have to call in someone else to help.
Yeah.
And with riding your bike, that's not necessarily a thing. Like you watch movies and talk videos and talk to your friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like you're the only person that can ride your body on your bike doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it like that. But yeah, there's really no shortcut to doing a bike trick. I mean, it's like you have to be the one to do it. And there's really not many other things like that.
Yeah, it's a thing of, and I don't know, this might be a common thing. Like, but someone said to me once, your bike will do anything that your body allows it.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's a really, like, it kind of weirds me out sometimes to think about that, but it's absolutely true.
Yeah, and going back to what we're going to do with
unless you have frog bars.
Yeah, frog bars are just going to snap in half.
That's a bike problem.
Unless you have frog bar. Yeah. The matter. Yes, then you have an actual bike problem. But if the entity frog bar is speaking to you, then you absolutely have the advantage. Dave, what do you have to say about getting back up?
Well, first I was just going to comment on what Rodney was saying, because we are actually proposing on this show that we find someone or find people to recreate Ray's run that was so gratifying. So it will be interesting to see, because Ray will be a perfect, I don't know, demonstration of how gratifying that was to actually have somebody do his run for him and not be him actually doing the tricks. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know, Ray, how do you think that will feel for you to watch somebody do your exact run from 88?
I think it'll be fun. I think it'd be very easy to learn. It's not that hard. The tricks aren't that hard, but I think it would be fun to see somebody. Actually, it'd be fun to see how long it would take somebody to learn that run, because for me, it took forever. It took 4 years to develop those, 6 tricks. And I think, well, actually I did a million tail whips in that. So, just different variations.
Yeah.
The whole run was tail whips.
I was just thinking about how it's going to change you, because you won't actually be physically doing the trick, and will it be as gratifying to watch somebody?
I mean, I don't know about gratifying. Like, I mean, what are you talking about?
Well,
you mean gratifying that somebody would take it'd be gratifying that somebody took the time out to want to do it, to want to learn it,
Well, to Joe's point, though, that you said earlier, that if someone can do a trick like first try, then there's really nothing much to it. There's not much satisfaction out of it. It doesn't even count as a trick. So, someone could do that same run, and you're saying how this run that Ray did was like the greatest in Flatland history potentially. But if someone else does the exact same run and it was easy for them, it may not be the greatest run in history.
Exactly. Yeah,
right.
Gary Pollock could probably do it today, second try. He could probably do that. He could probably watch it and do that whole run without even trying.
The trick is everything you went through to figure out that trick. It's not doing the trick.
And my point that I was trying to bring up is that Rodney had said there's a difference between doing something like riding his bike and doing tricks versus replacing a hot water heater. And he says it's, you know, a different perspective. And then Art was saying, well, I always kind of look at it all the same and I just take it on. And I'm just wondering what it would be like for Ray to watch somebody do his run, if it's going to be as satisfying.
I'll tell you this. Here's something that'd be satisfying. If you and Joe could both do that run. I want to, like, I don't know. I don't know if Joe can do a rock walk. Or maybe he could do it very easily. But on his setup he has today, I didn't use brakes on that rock walk. I never use brakes on a rock walk. And everybody used to tell me everybody told me using brakes is easier, but I needed that momentum.
That's why it looked the way it did.
It's much cooler.
You won't see Dave Volker do a rock walk like that. He jumps his rock walks. And like other people do the front brake. Mm-hmm. I just did it. I was flying when I did that rock walk. And it was and I had a moto mag on the back because I used to do rock walks like that, and the moto mag or my tough wheel would just shatter. Rims would just bend in half, and I couldn't come up with I didn't even know what moto mags were. And some kid down the street had a junky bike with moto mags on it. And I bought his entire bike just to use the moto mags. And I put a coaster brake on the moto mag, and that thing didn't budge, but my bike weighed like 74 pounds because a moto mag weighs like 30 some pounds.
So you had no front brake, or you?
I had brakes, I just didn't use them.
You didn't use them.
I had them, but didn't use them. I want to see Joe or Dave or both do that run, because here's what would be. See, the gratifying part would be if you guys failed at it and being like, I just can't do it. Then I'd be like, I did something they didn't do.
I mean, there are tricks in that run that would be really hard to do without brakes.
Yeah.
No, I had brakes. I mean, I used brakes for everything. I'm just saying,
like,
for the rock
Joe's
walk. For Joe, it'd be
like that would be really hard to.
And for Dave, it'd be hard because I didn't touch. Dave touches a lot.
Yeah,
Dave would be like, "How did Ray do this without touching?" I don't think Dave can do a mucus donut without touching. Dave would have to. Dave would really have to try not to touch on that.
Do you remember that Ren and Stimpy episode with Space Madness when with the history eraser button, and Stimpy was like so tempted to touch the history eraser button? Do you think that? I think your point, Ray, is that Dave just wants to dab. He wants to sneaky touch. He wants to see if he can get away with it.
Yeah, no, he can't. Not if I'm watching.
That's the attraction.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I don't know if I have an answer for that. It just goes so deep for me right now, because literally since that conversation I had with Ray about not touching when we were at the Changa, I haven't had a decent session since. Like, I haven't even been able to ride. And
what are you talking about?
I've been teaching BMX again. I started my classes again, and I do a little show, and I touched probably 10 times.
Maybe you were touching before and you just didn't realize it because you were so used to touching, and nobody would call it out because you were Dave Norrie, the Flatland master. And they'd be afraid to say, and they were afraid to go, oh man, Dave touched on that. And then he touched on that, where you were so used to touching that it was just part of your run.
So my whole thing, I'm realizing, answering the question about failing, is that literally I'm trying to figure out the best way to exit the Flatland scene, because I'm going to have to like slowly, like I have to, because Ray gave me very sound advice, only do tricks that you can pull. So when I did that show,
no.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm thinking maybe this is going to be, we're going to wind Dave Norrie down. We're just going to, each year we'll say, okay, Dave has 10 tricks.
When you fall down, you get back up. And what you have to do is you have to now try even harder and rededicate yourself to the tricks and to the lifestyle of Flatland that you know you can do. You know that you can do runs without touching.
So let me tell you what happened. Okay, so on Thursday, I taught 2 classes. I taught a Wednesday class and Thursday class. And I have about between 7 and 10 students. It's amazing. The weather's nice. It's just awesome. A kid, not even in the class, says, "Hey, can you do a 360?" Okay. So I am on my master. And what are you showing now?
I'm gonna get you excited.
Hey, we should get Dave to chase a chicken in an alley.
Yeah. You need to chase a chicken in an alley.
Joe, I
Looks
caught
like this
so
in
much
Portland.
shit from my friends for talking about I was in Rocky 2. Warren gave me so much shit for that. That's a whole nother story.
Okay, well, while we're watching this, I'm going to finish my little story.
Tell the story of how you're gonna.
The guy says to me, kid says to me, "Hey, Dave, can you do a 360?" And so that's like a bunny hop 360, but I kind of land on the back wheel, Ray. I don't do it completely off the air. I don't do like a whole 360, but I land on the back wheel and the bike comes around. I haven't done that trick for a while, and I'm not in the best of shape. I go to bunny hop. I do the 360 and I slam harder than I've slammed in decades. I slammed so hard on a 360, I hit my shoulder, I hit my shin caught something, cut my shin up, and I think I cracked a rib. So since then, I haven't slept for like 3 nights.
You haven't slept.
I haven't slept, thank you. Or slept.
I haven't slept. Did you bang your head too?
He hit really hard. Dave,
this music in the background makes it just that much more entertaining.
It's gripping. Yeah.
And so, Dave, when you went down hard and you hit your funny bone, it makes you now pronounce sleep differently. Did you think you were just gonna stay down there? Did you envision the rest of your life laying on the ground next to your bike, or did you see something different for yourself? Dave, your sound is off.
Hello, Dave.
Dave,
you're muted.
Should we go check?
Hey,
can somebody go check
Dave,
on him?
tell us that again. Say it again, Dave.
Just that happened on Thursday. On Friday, I got up and I flew to Wales. I literally couldn't sleep at all. I was in pain the whole time. I'm now here in my house by myself. My wife and her son and everyone is out doing stuff, and I'm stuck in. And so you're asking this question, and I'm serious. You guys are making a lot of joke about it, and I'm saying sleep instead of slept and all this. And the bottom line is that I'm screwed. I'm seriously in the bottom of the barrel. I can't even picture riding. I could probably pull a quick spin and a nori handstand without touching for the next year. Other than that, I feel like.
Wait, for the next year? How long is it going to take for you to heal?
Well, I'm just saying I'm depressed. I'm seriously depressed with my riding, and how am I going to exit the scene gracefully? Because should I just
so a couple
stop
things. You're not going to exit the scene. You're not going to exit the scene. Number one, you're not going to exit the scene. Number two, what you're going to do is when you get back home, you're going to find a trick that you like to do, and you're going to do that all the time. And you're going to feel, now you're going to do some stretching beforehand. You're going to do some stretching.
I do that.
Okay, but you're going to overstretch. You're going to go a little bit longer, because with what you got to work out all those little kinks. You got to do range of motion stuff really slow. You're going to get the blood flowing, and then your muscles are going to start to wake up, and you're going to go out. You can do that trick, and you do it again. You can do it again. You're going to do it again. You're going to wake all those little muscles up.
Just do the
Don't
360.
do the 360 again. You don't have to go back on the thing that wrecked you. You're going to do whatever other trick makes you stoked. And you're going to try other tricks.
I have a question for Art. Art, I have a question for you. You talked earlier about breaking or cracking ribs or something. How long was it? Because I can't believe how much pain I'm in.
It really. So is it like pain all the time, or is it just certain movements?
Pain all the time, and then I started taking pain medication, and I've slept a little bit tonight, or this evening I slept.
How much water are you drinking?
Probably not enough.
You got to double up
Well-
on water. You got to drink so much water, but you got to do it in little sips, like almost constantly.
Hey, I know you can get one of those big jugs like Joe has, and that. Yeah. But no, so for me with ribs, it was like I could sit in a chair and it was fine. You know, I would do some other movement and it would hurt, but it was like I could have a comfortable position. I had to sleep a certain way, but oh yeah, that was the other thing, is that I would to lay down, like I would be in a sitting position, and then to lay down, or no, to get back up, to lay down, I could just kind of like fall back on the bed, but to get up, I would have to have people like put a pillow under me so I could like multiple pillows so I could slowly work my way up.
Wow.
So yeah, but they healed pretty quickly. I mean, from what I had, I mean, it was just a crack. It wasn't like, you know, separated or anything. So
Yeah, I don't even know if I cracked it or if it's just like bruised, but I can't believe the amount of pain.
yeah, I mean, the bruise might actually be more painful. I don't know.
So can Paula hug you?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not cracked. It would be excruciating.
Yeah.
I learned that because I had a doctor hug me, and I was like, "What?" And he goes, "If you were actually cracked, it would be excruciating."
Yeah. Well, anyhow,
Maybe
so
your
that's my
doctor just
answer.
liked you.
I guess my answer is I want to answer this once I got back up, because I'm down right now. Seriously, like not just physically, but my riding and like everything, and I don't see a way out. And you guys think I'm
Well-
joking? You think it's a bit?
No, there's always a way.
No.
You'll be fine.
Dave, I
think
get where you're coming
there's always a
from,
way
but
out.
it's just like you're like you're saying. I mean, I think it's great for this story. Like you're at the bottom. You're at the point where you've just fallen down, and now you're figuring out how to get back up, and you don't have all the answers. But I mean, I think you've proven so many times in your life before that you're able to get back up, recover from things, and be riding your bike again. This is just one of those times. It's just you look at it differently when you're at the low point rather than looking back on it and seeing how you did it.
So Dave,
Yeah,
you need to
but-
watch Rocky 3. You need to watch Rocky 3 and watch what Rocky Balboa did after he got his ass handed to him by Clubber Lang.
And I think I
This
need
is-
to take
this is-
some grammar classes, because I keep saying slept and sleeped and
Whatever. If you're not,
Did you hit your
I've had
head?
Sleep, I have had sleep.
No.
I've had sleeping. I've had a couple of gnarly sleeping disorders. It messes with you. But all you have to do is eventually get some sleep. So you're fine. You don't have to take any like grammar classes. You just need to get some sleep.
okay. Your answer,
But you
Joe,
seriously,
how
but you seriously need to look. I'm going to give you a talking to, because you have given me some talking tos. You're going to be fine, and you're going to come here next week, and we're going to check on your progress, and you get some sleep. It's completely recoverable. I have had sleeping disorders, and they are terrifying, because you think that you're going nuts, because your brain
yeah.
actually needs sleep.
I mean, and it's twofold, Joe. It's the physical aspect, and then truly, honestly, like my riding, like where my riding
Your
is
riding
dwindling
is awesome.
So
Oh,
quick.
shut up with that. It's not dwindling quickly. I've watched your riding. You're not quick dwindling. You're oppo quick dwindling. You're getting better. I'm observing you. You are riding great, Dave.
Okay.
That's right. That's exactly the right answer. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do
I'm
an
right
edit-
about this.
do an edit so I can feel good about it.
I'm right about this. If you let me know if you need to spend a weekend at the Terra Dome Sports Science Research Center
Okay.
as part of your rehabilitation.
I know
Okay.
what would be great for you to get rehabilitated on this situation right now. Learn my run, Dave. Learn
Yeah.
my run.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you
Master
should
that
do, Dave.
run.
You know what?
Master
Exactly
that
what
run
you should do.
to where
Dave
you can
flies
do it
out
in your
there.
sleep.
Learn, raise, run. The rafters in the Terra Dome look kind of like some of the places Rocky was working out. You guys could make like
Yep.
a Rocky edit with those
Yeah,
tricks.
we'll
Mhm,
we'll
mhm.
run through the mud in the field.
Yeah.
Can I wear all hammer all hammer
Bring your
Timberlands?
Timberlands and hammer.
Wear
could-
hammer
you
stuff.
could
I would say it's
hire-
almost required, really.
Hire
Yeah.
Russians to chase you in a Mercedes.
drink 12 eggs before you do the run each time.
I'll do that. I'll drink raw eggs. I could do that. I used to do that.
Would you
do
chase
it.
the chicken in the alley?
Sure.
If you
I
could chase the
actually chase
chicken in the
chickens.
alley, you're cured.
I chase chickens. We have chickens. We just bought more chicks. So I'll be able to chase some chickens.
Have Paula take video of you chasing a chicken, catching it.
Can it just be a
This
little
is-
baby chick?
No,
Yeah, it doesn't have.
this
Yeah,
is
we
all
didn't
you need.
specify the size.
Whatever. You know what? Here's the thing. Find a chicken, chase it every day of its life.
I have chickens.
I'm not- That was what I'm telling you. Chase
Okay.
that chicken every day of its life. And after a certain number of months, you will chase a chicken and you will catch that chicken as easily as you caught the little chick.
You know what I like about this show is like, you think that this is a bit, but this is actually true. And I feel so good about it. I was excited that I could get on because I wasn't sure about the Wi-Fi. And now I'm actually pumped up because I'm going to go find a chicken. I'm going to chase it. I'm going to look at Ray's run and watch that. And I'm going to analyze it. And it might take me, it's going to take me more than 4 days to learn that run. It might not take me 4 years, but if it was 4 years, I'd be 61. So that's a little long, but
It's exactly what you
between-
need to do.
somewhere
You can
between
do it at
4 days and 4
Write it
years.
down. Grab a piece of paper from the desk of Dave Norrie and write that down.
Okay.
Put a $2
Hearts on
bill
fire,
in each
Dave.
front pocket.
Hearts on fire. All right, guys, we are at 3 hours and we have actually changed Dave Norrie's life in
I
a
think so.
non-rehearsed bit. And we expect that other people's lives are going to be changed in this very same way. And if you would like to join Factor Freestyle, you can pay 43 cents and I will give you all a talking to. And we're going to have similar outcome as what you observed Dave going through.
Real quick, Rodney, do you feel that you got your 43 cents worth?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Perfect.
It was a good time.
Well,
I would pay 43 cents and do it again.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well,
Excellent.
Rodney, it was nice meeting you. And
You
Art,
too.
it was great meeting you because I heard about you and I wanted to talk to you about your involvement in NASA. And I think
I'm
one of
happy to
these
sway
days,
you just a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, you seriously did. You see, and the thing is, you didn't argue the points. You just stated facts. You know what I mean? You didn't go, "Hey, look," because that's what people. I don't like to fight and argue. I like to
with
just
you.
know the facts, share the facts, and then go from there. You know, so
Yep. Sometimes people need to just think over facts and it kind of comes to them. It's like it can't really be like pushed down their throat like at that moment.
yeah.
So yeah. Well, hey, it was nice meeting you, Ray and Rodney, and
Yeah,
good seeing
you too.
Joe and Dave again. Yeah.
This was fun.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
And we almost
you.
cured
All right.
Dave Norrie. Are we done?
We're done.
We're done. All right. Thanks. See you guys.
See you guys.
All right.
Thanks,
See
guys.
you.
It was
Peace out.
awesome.
Okay.